Mr. Speaker, this moment of national renewal unfolds against the backdrop of a world in profound flux. The global order we once knew is being rapidly reshaped, and the so-called rule-based international system endures only as long as it protects the advantages of those who designed it. Once emerging nations like ours begin to operate within those same rules to rebalance power, the very architects of that order prove willing to relax their commitments. Ghana, like many nations, has learned this hard truth. We cannot respond to this new reality with fragmentation, hesitation, or continued dependence. History has long taught us that resilience and prosperity will not be handed to us. They must be built deliberately through cooperation, self-belief, and strategic alignment. This era ahead demands that Africa must move from a posture of dependence to one of collective self-reliance. Mr. Speaker, it is in this spirit that Ghana has sought to play a convening and catalytic role on the continent. In the middle of last year, our capital, Accra, hosted African heads of state, policymakers, and development partners for a landmark health sovereignty summit. Together, we charted a new roadmap for healthcare financing and collaboration among African nations. And that message was clear. Africa must take ownership of its health security, pool its resources, deepen collaboration, and design financing solutions that reflect our realities rather than external prescriptions. Strong economies require healthy populations, and health sovereignty is inseparable from economic sovereignty. The same logic applies to trade, industry, and economic growth. Africa's future lies in dismantling our artificial borders, removing bottlenecks that stifle commerce, and fully activating a common market that allows our goods, services, and capital and ideas to move freely across the continent. No single African country, no matter how well endowed, can thrive alone in this new global environment. Rather, when we work together, our combined markets, our youthful populations, our natural resources, and our creativity will constitute one of the greatest economic opportunities of this century. Africa must summon the courage to shape its own destiny, building genuine sovereignty across Africa. The Global South requires a deliberate and disciplined plan, one that begins with unlocking the immense human and creative potential of our young people, strengthening regional value chains to add value to what we produce, mobilizing to finance our own development, and speaking with a single, coordinated, and confident voice in global affairs. Mr. Speaker, this is how Africa can move from promise to power, from participation to leadership, and from dependence to self-reliance. The path forward is clear. Africa must rise with confidence, unity, and purpose. And Ghana stands ready not only to rebuild at home, but also to work hand in hand with our African brothers and sisters to shape a future that is defined by shared strength, dignity, and prosperity. Mr. Speaker, we are resolved here in Ghana to operate with our eyes open, to protect our sovereignty, and to design policies that place our people first. We'll continue to engage with the world, but on terms that reflect our interests. We will uphold global norms, but we will not outsource our judgment. And we will build resilience at home so that shifts in external power do not translate into hardship for our citizens. Mr. Speaker, when I last came before this House, I spoke candidly about the depth of the challenges we had inherited across all facets of our nation. Mr. Speaker, nowhere was this national malaise more evident than in the economic sector. We inherited an economy in severe crisis, burdened by unsustainable debt, high inflation, a rapidly depreciating currency, and an escalating cost of living crisis that had left our citizens reeling from unimaginable hardship caused by years of general imprudence and reckless management of the economy. Mr. Speaker, I was clear from the outset that recovery will not come easily. But I was also clear that I'll stop at nothing to turn this situation around and bring relief to Ghanaians. I promised then that just as I have confronted and overcome crisis in the past, I'll reset our economy and return us to a path of growth, progress, and development. Mr. Speaker, I told this August House then, when I appeared before you last year, that we would have to take tough, prudent, and necessary decisions to restore stability and credibility. Today, Mr. Speaker, I can say to you with confidence, Ghana is back. Ghana is working again. And Ghana is open for business. The fundamentals are improving, and the path to sustained acceleration is very clear to everyone. From the outset, we resolved to choose discipline over waste, reform over excuses, and stability over speculation. As a responsible government, our first order of business was to halt the economic hemorrhaging and restore order to our public.
Once again, it's exactly a couple of minutes past 2 p.m. And yeah, Baba Shem, come on, Ahra Baba Shem, Edia Fa, and President. The Sona presentation or yeah, no, I'm saying Ra. Yeah, I think it was Enra no yeah, so our presentation is the State of the Nation address. You bet ye kakra, we are near Buffy na enya contribution komo. Na yet see dear. Or the to answer sanity, is it realistic? And I say just because of politics, that's why they are saying all that. And in Tibekum, they are Dr. Bekamins, Dr. Akwaba.
Yeah, not today.
Pomo, Yamanadum. So Yabe Kakra, Yabebo video Kakra, then after that we come back and discuss the whole video.
Okay.
Public finances. We tightened expenditure and commitment controls. We improved payables reporting and conducted a comprehensive audit of 2024 commitments to restore credibility and discipline. Mr. Speaker, these measures have begun to deliver some of the most remarkable economic outcomes in decades. Mr. Speaker, as we approach the celebration of our 69th independence anniversary, we do so not only with pride in our past, but also with renewed hope for our future. We are building prosperity through sound policy, responsible governance, and inclusive growth. We are restoring hope by delivering on our promises and proving that good leadership makes a measurable difference in our people's lives. The Resetting Ghana agenda is working. The Accra reset is gaining momentum. And together they are laying the foundation for a stronger, more resilient, and more prosperous Ghana. Mr. Speaker, our nation is on the runway. It is in takeoff mode. And you are all advised to fasten your seatbelts. Mr. Speaker, the journey continues, and the direction is set, and the hope is real. Our theme today of building prosperity, restoring hope is not merely aspirational. It reflects the tangible transformation we have delivered for the Ghanaian people. Mr. Speaker, our economy has grown significantly. In 2025, Ghana's GDP is expected to reach $113 billion, an increase from $83 billion at the end of 2024. This has placed Ghana among the top 10 largest economies in Africa. Mr. Speaker, average GDP growth for the first 3 quarters of 2025 is reported at 6.1%. But growth means nothing without discipline. Our primary surplus reached 2.6% of GDP far exceeding our target of 1.5%. Mr. Speaker, we closed our fiscal deficit at 3.1%, well below the projected 3.8%. Mr. Speaker, this is not prudent governance. It is promise-keeping, and it has benefited households and businesses because we have borrowed less and spent more responsibly. Interest rates have fallen, confidence has returned, private businesses are breathing again. Mr. Speaker, the 19th of December 2022 will go down as one of the darkest days in Ghana's economic history. On that day, Ghana declared its inability to honor its debt obligations. We declared a debt default and placed a moratorium on both domestic and foreign debt repayments. Following this, we entered a protracted and complex debt restructuring process. Ghana's debt became a shackle on our economic progress, dragging our nation down into hardship and despair. Looking at Ghana's track debt process, it's clear that those who negotiated on our behalf were only intent on kicking the can down the road. With the largest debt repayments scheduled, interestingly, between 2025 and 2028. Mr. Speaker, we confronted this crisis with action, not rhetoric. We established sinking funds, we restructured obligations, and we pursued bilateral agreements. Mr. Speaker, the result, public debt fell by 82.1 billion Ghana cedis and took our debt to GDP from 61.8% to 45.3%. Mr. Speaker, this is one of the sharpest reductions of debt in Ghana's history. Mr. Speaker, just this year, after the New Year celebration on January 2nd, when people were still recovering from hangovers, we settled a US 709 million euro bond ahead of schedule. We settled a US dollar 709 million euro bond ahead of schedule, completing the US 1.4 billion in debt service that was meant for 2025. Mr. Speaker, and the world noticed, Fitch, Moody's, and Standard & Poor's all upgraded Ghana's credit ratings, the first triple upgrade in many years. Mr. Speaker, Ghana's credibility is restored. Ghana is rising. The heaviest burden we inherited was the very high inflation rate, which was silently eroding every household's purchasing power. It peaked at 54.1% at the end of 2022, and it declined to 23.5% by the end of 2024. Mr. Speaker, we treated this with urgency. Through fiscal consolidation, currency stabilization, and disciplined monetary policy, inflation fell from 23.5% at the end of 2024 to 3.8%. Mr. Speaker, inflation fell from 23.5% at the end of 2024 to 3.8% over 13 consecutive months by January 2026. Mr. Speaker, and very interesting, food inflation, which had been the main driver of the upward pressure on inflation, fell by 26.6 percentage points. Inflation for locally produced goods fell by 22.6 percentage points. Mr. Speaker, these are not just statistics. These translate into the reality of a parent being able to put food on the table for their children. It translates into the reality of businesses thriving and creating opportunities for Ghana's young people. Mr. Speaker, petrol prices dropped from 15.2%, 15.2 Ghana cedis to 10.7 cedis per liter. And only recently, it dipped below the 10 cedi mark to 9.97. Diesel fell from 15.4 to 11.3. And this brought relief to our nation's 3.7 million car owners and the tens of millions of Ghanaians who depend on transport daily. Mr. Speaker, to the interesting part. Exchange.
Okay, Doctor.
Yeah.
So it's here a little bit about the whole SONA presentation, which is the State of the Nation address for 2026. Based on the presentation and what is realistically what is on the ground. The presentation, do you think it does it really reflect in the life of Ghanaians?
About 90%, yes.
Okay.
We'll talk about the other. Or your mommy percentage,
Okay.
Yeah, something that's some kind of institution. Why? From
Okay.
what I've seen and what I've heard. Yes. He was talking about the reduction in the petrol prices, which it is true.
Petrol, diesel, going
Diesel,
down
significantly. Like
things are still expensive. The prices doesn't still go down, even though the petrol.
That falls within the 10%, and I'll talk about it.
Okay.
Excuse me. Last time I called Ghana, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
In them time, petrol was around 17 cities and a change per liter.
Okay.
I remember them time I use a Mazda, semi 4x4 Mazda B.
Okay.
Now, me if you're American, I'm about Ghana, but I made to petrol and I'm
Why?
Because the petrol nobody has redder. Like me, they can't consider one fill a tank and so me fill a tank and about 10 times and here I me going out by America back in Wisconsin.
Okay.
I remember 2021. Now, me figure Ghana bear only 2 weeks in pool.
Okay, recently, yeah.
Recently, me call Ghana no. Petrol was 9 cities. Like the only place they want a petrol 10 cities, a liter no. Or yeah, Shell filling stations. I don't know why though, but maybe they add some other things to one petrol normal. I don't know why. But other filling stations never do 9 Ghana cities, right?
Okay.
Morocco. Oh yeah, I don't trust politicians, but Morocco, it is something I've seen.
Okay.
It was something that I've seen with my eyes. I've experienced it. It is true. There were 2 petrol though. And other things, and so the borrowing, the Ghana recently, research about out nature there. Credibility our international stage, why improve?
Okay.
Which is also true because I've read it. Those days, in Ghana say yeah, copy loan your bread, but this time, credibility now but very high, and we are not borrowing too much like we used to. That is also true. That is when he talked about Ghana is borrowing less and spending responsibly. That's what he said, which I think it's true because you don't much more of Ghana. Recently, video be I'm share Ghana we are not importing gas from Nigeria anymore because you see, so
because
it means that
we're disconnecting internal.
Also, what Nigeria for Caribbean were disconnect, and that is what was creating the doomsday. You see, but politicians will never explain to you why the doomsday was going on. When you don't want to know what their politics.
Yeah.
But so I don't go to explain it to Ghanaians that this is the reason why I ain't doom so onye NDC onye MPP. Ewa, you import gas from Nigeria now. A cock a crabby ban away do. It's not doom so. But people don't know. Video number here, we are building our own plants, ewa, to produce the gas. Our Ghana here.
Yeah.
And want to know we could have a building so that to them when they are done, they won't need Nigeria for help. To produce the gas, which means that we're gonna have it in abundance. Now, he also talked about something which every Ghanaian at this point, what attest to that. Also, the economy is on the runway. It's on the takeoff mode.
State.
Takeoff state, takeoff mode, or takeoff mood. No.
It's some takeoff.
And she's trying to say there, and I like that part because he's not boasting there. Ghana is now perfect. We are doing well. That is why I like what he said. And he's not boasting there. Oh, we are good. Also, I understand. Maybe our aeroplane, pilots. We took the aeroplane from the other pilot, and our aeroplane was stationed and maybe loading passengers. Then we know. Now, pilot says, you to plane to me move. You to me a fixed engine. My plane or fly obey. But they ain't flying yet.
Okay.
Anyway, we are still taxiing. We are still on the runway. We are still trying to climb, which it makes sense. When you listen, this doesn't sound like a typical politician's speech. This sounds more like somebody who understands there. But still there is more to do for you. And, I like that part where he said that. He also said there in Africa, Ghana's economy is in the top, one of the top largest economy in Africa, which I have heard about, I've read about. And Ghana's economy is now, something to boast of.
Okay.
Nigerians are now even saying, Ghanaians are doing far better than Nigeria, which we were doing before, but now we are doing even more better than them. And it is true all over Africa. Every nation wants to invite Ghana's president to come and then, to their country, have a speech. Recently, on the Zambia. Yeah. And it is true, Ghana is doing, but you see, I think the Ghanaians say, sometimes, for politicians, and let us be proud of ourselves. Okay. I'm not saying they be proud of Mahama or be proud of Akufo-Addo. Some people government, they laid a certain foundation for the next government. Others are. Mahama is also going to lay the foundation for the next person that comes. We are doing well. Ghana is we don't know what we have because we fight too much. Like for example, Shatawale in a Stone Boy. Fans of Shatawale don't know how good Stone Boy is because they are not being objective to look at Stone Boy to see how talented he is, because when you're Stone Boy fan, we're Shatawale fans.
Yeah.
Same applies to Stone Boy and the fans. Until we are fighting so much there. How talented they are. Because me a Stone Boy and the fan, I'm not kind of Shatawale is useless. Me a Shatan fan, I'm a Stone Boy is useless. The same thing is happening to our politics in Ghana. Ma NDC baby MPP on Yennefe, or question, or find holes, or punch holes, or a BB. Same applies to NDC for. So what I'm saying is, look at Parliament in Pono before the speech or after the speech, look at what the minority in where Parliament. I mean, it's part of politics. But sometimes, some of these things are not necessary, or it's unnecessary. For example, politicians, when you're there, and your economy is controlled by the world economy. The economy of every country is controlled by the world stage. For example, Ghana will be in trouble, say Iran, another Dubai, another Ukraine, another Venezuela. And when they stop producing oil, it's going to affect us.
Yeah. Okay.
Anytime a war begins, baby, we are affected.
Mm-hmm.
How are we affected? It doesn't affect our kenke prices. It affects our fuel prices, which in turn trickles down to our friend and petty traders, because Tabi or do be fitechima baby I can't use petrol.
Mm-hmm.
Into petrol kosora drivers so one bobo kosora. Drivers one bono okosora. It affects traders. Traders and so no what the Yamani ba marketer banchi says eton 10 Ghana cedis. She's about 15 Ghana cedis.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, into these things no affecting, but we don't see it that way because we tend to politicize everything. Anyway, to me, I think they're like Coco, yeah, a minority, what about parliament? Any friend, a well-educated person will know that, or a jandam, or a concert.
Yeah. Why?
Because Obianim there, cocoa prices nangasano will fall worldwide.
Yeah.
On your Ghana, hey. Cocoa prices now fall. Our neighbors now, Cote d'Ivoire now, politicians, what they are yastic, you know. Cote d'Ivoire put a water too, cocoa prices no water total.
Yeah. Let me sure. I think it was around, they're paying even less than 1,000 Ghana.
They are paying less than what Ghana is giving 2,000 plus.
Yeah.
And Cote d'Ivoire is paying less than 1,000. Ewa, into a cheddar Cote d'Ivoire Punuwenya, and Cote d'Ivoire cocoa Popa Ghana button.
Yeah.
Ewa, but cocoa farmers, most of them are uneducated, and so they don't know that the government is doing even better to cushion them because we are turning everything into politics. Amangasa personally, Nankasano, honestly speaking, since I've done radio and I've been in media, and I don't pay attention to Sona.
Okay.
State of the Nation, I don't pay attention to it. Why? Because Charlie, Masa, I don't pay attention to it. Or a politician or a politician or a but in reality, no, one can say no, it's not when there, it doesn't reflect in your life as a Ghanaian. Yeah, politicians, well, they tend to lie a lot. But I'm surprised that when you listen to Mahama speech here, I'm not saying 100% are right, because there are some aspects of the speech me experience. Well, I don't even know. I don't have the data. I don't have the data. Ejuma Ghana will create. Mahama can say whatever he wants to say. I don't know. I don't have the evidence. I have no idea. The parts 90%. Yeah, there are some things that he said. You don't need to be in politics to know that what he's saying is true.
Okay.
What I can tell Ghanaians in there, I think that it is getting to a point where we have to try to do away with the politicism. Now, yen look at yen leaders, and with bipartisan lens. Is Mama really doing the job? Yen kada we another way, but Oben Cherry. Mama been some 1 year and a change, right?
Yeah.
Mama within 1 year and a change, which my BBana. And he said that even our friend and inflation, one about the inflation here, 23.5. And within 13 months, just 1 year and 3 months, we to drop inflation to 3.8.
3.8, yeah.
You have to be a magician to do that. So if they truly have able to do that, have been able to do that, Charlie, ever credit where credit is due. From 23.5 to 3.8, it's more like one drop, close to 20%.
Almost 80%.
Oh, brother. And I'm telling you there, people are talking about it because what's the EU can pull a porter? Prices until the before what I told you.
Oh, really?
Yes. Because COVID levy on you hobium.
Yeah, I hear so.
Say N-Hills health insurance was something where you be a film.
Okay.
So I know people who import and export cars what you list what about to social media for you to know there. The and when you compare how much has been taken away or taken off from what you used to pay. To the extent there, I'm a man how many years in you may consider them put them in the car look Ghana because when I'm Ghana, I'm in charge. Intimate car look Ghana because you can't be a scan of the we are can't be parking this one and the mechanic de check. And I'm a lot. I don't ship cars in Ghana. Because my mama come out Ghana 10 days, my back.
Okay.
But somebody like me now considering that with the car of Ghana, it means that things are looking good.
Send it to Ghana.
It is not perfect, but at least it is looking okay.
Okay. May I say thank you so much. We Kofi Spotlight and Kofi Showbiz, and here discussing about the SONA, which is the State of the Nation's address from the President Mahama and Ra Omaya and Yedi Hong Komo. And so said your kind is realistic on the ground. I didn't people experience it, and the doctor did the presentation about my member. And if you have my football, Aquaba, Namema, or Henibaso Aquaba, Mamuna Aquaba.
Yawaha.
Yawaha. Brandon. So strong. Yeah. Yeah, to make that. I'm going to to know.
My tone count back. My lose my voice into me because I'm a person with TMO.
Yeah, Branaba.
I know
are you about vacation? Something to catch it.
Bahamas.
I'm saying what's a lot of presentation from Doctor and Yabo video no kakra. I don't know so what have a time to go listen to the song, and if not, you better call quickly back to play like a few 5 minutes, and then we'll banana one more when you come what was submission there. I'm out of me.
Metunka.
Quickly,
rate volatility has long been at the heart of hardship in Ghanaian households. We made currency stability a priority, and Mr. Speaker, we have delivered. Mr. Speaker, we did not arrest the dollar. We strengthened the CD to put up a good fight against the other currencies.
Hey,
Mr. Speaker, we did not arrest the dollar. We strengthened the CD to put up a good fight against the other currencies. And I'm pleased to report to this House that the CD appreciated by 40.7% against the US dollar and by 30.9% against the British pound and by 24% against the euro. Mr. Speaker, Ghana's economic turnaround is broad-based and comprehensive. All sectors of the Ghanaian economy have witnessed remarkable improvement in our first year in office. And most importantly, Ghana's economy has surpassed the 100 billion mark for the first time. And as I said, it is projected to place Ghana among the top 10 largest economies in Africa. Mr. Speaker, our reserves currently stand at $13.8 billion from $8.9 billion at the end of 2024. This covers 5.7 months of import. A key driver of this development has been the establishment of the Ghana Gold Board. By formalizing gold exports, we have reduced smuggling. We have increased recorded exports in the artisanal and small-scale mining sector from 63.6 tons to 103 tons. And we've channeled that foreign exchange into our economy. Mr. Speaker, when the CD stabilizes, imported inflation falls, businesses can plan better, and household incomes improve. Mr. Speaker, as global uncertainty grows, It is necessary for us to reduce our country's exposure to external shocks, break the cycle of economic downturns, and safeguard our macroeconomic stability. Just last Wednesday, 25th February 2026, the Minister for Finance presented the Ghana Accelerated National Reserve Accumulation Policy to this House. Mr. Speaker, this policy seeks to strengthen our country's external resilience by increasing our international reserves to 15 months of import cover by the end of 2028, supporting long-term structural transformation while safeguarding macroeconomic stability. Mr. Speaker, it is forecast that gold prices will remain high over the next 3 years. And so this presents us with a unique opportunity to build an economic war chest to withstand any global economic shocks, to secure.
Okay, we have a back now. Yeah, Santiago Komachucha no so. Ainba. We said the same question to Doctor. Maybe saw the same question. Per the presentation or the mind, does it really reflect in ordinary Ghanaians' man pocket? Is it really reflecting? And I just a political talk.
Politicians they sing the same song all the time. Okay.
Okay.
But then Dr. Tia says, your cousin say, he who much is given is much expected. Mahama will be friends with media go. One a bass or be stress or pursue besomye. Okay, the amana dia na said ye to say wa baba wiase. E wo wa said yes or roba.
Okay.
Inti waya dia yes ye bebo na baso so waya dia but on fans no na say waya dia ma no ho. Waya dia ma to say one no be stress or besomye. He says he come to serve us. To abana be serve what? Do much. In fact, me tie nsem o keka ni bebre. Na eba djuma sam dey am person me call because NDC MPP om nyina ba o ya create adjuma e be wiase your backlog of university graduates over 95,000 tifie. Your Unemployment Association of Ghana that's what is here. And so you see afa nipa 1 billion. Inti no dey ya na no dey political talk. I don't want to go there. So Ghana Statistical Service almost end data ni adom de ba nyina no. E hurura dan sam ani kwa se Ghana for so. Because you nipa ofie even Mahama kraba abami your man na Akufo-Addo employ more by what terminate your appointment me wa omo to go for so no me Ghana for what is new here so what fan go for so now this offend the party am our form na so mo na Africa but you have just terminated the appointment including my own daughter who completed Kenya University me ba no kan Mahama bon appointment because when the service of me back by you in the service Ghana Education Regional Education Office Regional Director Amankra and a son appointment letter. We are voluntary service for almost 2 years. I was hot boy as voluntary and into an appointment. I'm about my you na me back on. My daughter was part. On your politician, me ban on your politician. Head and the true politics ya be pam no go trevi. And he's home now. You see, it is answer no ya no person. But on my panic can be na or see or more secure or more procurement before new 24-hour market. We shall say in every municipal and district and constituency or whatever. This should be a municipal be a 24-hour market. Yeah, or more no mama say sika. You are warning and this. So omo no mama say Ghana sika.
This is here no master. Ghana you must start with DVL and passport office.
I heard there a good. So my DVLA 24 hours work a year a good. Or more Canada government institutions are abandoned to Canada. We don't have any problem. But baby, I have procurement. I find here called Bob Busia Diabayas, Abeshas Yabe to form ama contract there. They should be careful.
Okay.
Because somebody DH. My point here may can say Akufo-Addo time. Almost satellite market to every district. Mimi Kroma gonna be all structure this order that where move is a much 24-hour market. Yeah, they should have tackled that market and continue and make it 24 hours. They should not go and set something else differently from what Akufo-Addo started. So the government is continuous, yeah, they should continue from that. It in America, omo hwe no mama say Ghana sika because we omo kika kai dia abane dada na ye no omo fom sanka omo kwakọ asase fro ahyase o ba bia wan hwe kura no mo awie na no sika kokam.
Yeah, most of the time
that is why I'm saying said they should not waste Ghanaians money. Omo say Ghana for sika na ye mampani Mahama dia enya kufu ade okọ dia but omo nyina ba bia ba opeso say sika. Ghana ba bia Ghana do no, we should have gone far than where we are now. You have just 69 years of independence. God has supposed to highway. They should not come and waste our money. Almost set up practice right. Yes, I have a can say, I can say, yeah, where we are saying, not chance, I'm not banner good. Because, and some of my Banika, any other, yeah, God has man, okay, says, good. Send to the Galan, woman, I know. Send in account. Ko galamse ni se de si gina mu no e gina mu se ne kane no because God board nyesika munya God ko turn abontinti e gina mu masa mum yem fe ma ni nya gross awo hwe obi aka tro se Ghana se ka ho kire wa obwa me se Ghana currently se wa kwala na ne etua ne ka se de ka UK fo tua kwala ka ya ka nchen because we have everything bibia no ayeni e dey na ba okina wo se Ghana. I'm asking you a question. Ye atiefo a hwe yen ye open ye musa say dia na Burkina was in Ghana. It makes me catch say na Burkina for about 75% 80% of Burkina base almost Ghanaians. Because of leadership. The problem in Africa is leadership. Mampani abaki kan we bebre. Oh ya fund power 1 million. Na mete yi kwachi ofusu ewo asempa enra. Just say, brofu ye kasa wo, brofu ye kasa. And a kasa nso ye mframa. Politicians we nyasa omo di Ghana for di agro no. We are decent now. Ye niate, ye nimdi akoso. Ye ntimetena ma da bia mo medadai. Ni aye say, da bia menim so mampani ka road to wasam dia wo dia mante.
Yeah, okay. I saw Kumasi road on my start.
Kumasi yes man this for yes I catch them this year by no company say Kumasi for ye near brepa nim so obo Kumasi interchange ni so dia me peta meti
one more interchange but I can say Kumasi road no I think that it was specifically to the road no
good
and okay yenyen video maybe yenyen that part that you know about he mentioned it
Kumasi Accra highway ni dia
yeah
so omo so omba ya ye ta omo ti so omo nye ni ye omo nkofa planner eye bia says dual carriage na be wi ase sika senti ate so are 3 no untimi nya fato fansa nkakura wo de mane na o ne nkum Ghana for za na no ye tititi ye se Kumasi interchange wo a akufu ado akwadwofo aban a omo be kro no mu se Kumasi fo nya interchange nti afa no be interchange aman no structure down mate se ye bete so instead of 40 and ye bete so are 2 or 3 ya de yaman this ya ba woni Kumasi mo nya mo de mo mane na ho ne mfuto nkuan ye mpa bibia original structure na down ye mpese ye de ensa beka because whether 2 tier or 3 tier na ye se ye no tamale no ya ante so se de ye jisha no tamale de no sa na ye no se de mo jisha na nkran no sa na mo ye no se bi Kumasi fo se bi ye nya nkwasi abonza nti ye mpese politician bia ba be dadan se de o mo dadan e free tete and this MPP dadan no ye so so bi into a company so na okoke kan ni nsem okoke kan de to be frank with you people so the air but the reality on the ground no and the air on paper there politicians both for this MPP on paper no be correct and the two one we kra ayi ukofa we the reason na president ko gina ayi United Nations Assembly na ka say African leaders make kind omo priorities no omo vision and someone better one we are World Bank bogu kruskani nyina mom je be wiase no enkosi aga ti esre no omo strength omo ne maye aban omampani Mahama ni hu ni asem e be wiase omo atwa no wa hia ode adwuma be shom za no omo na ebidi abro omo brief omampani a omo brief ni ye omo man information omo man the accurate information no deliver to the nation yempentro 1 million people no so my employment there enye no correct eno do obi ani say political talk eno there Yes, sure. Because Metis a fair crana, soldier for over 14,000 soldiers within.
Yeah, also now the more young youth for they will make sure that
yes,
they add them more.
More. And at the late Omanibu Amanso in ideology, our the buy as a national service sponsor, you be training be as military no a good idea. Or move and here. These are some of the things interventions are omultimia ebeboa. Na yebuso fee ne how to implement it. Me say on paper no is solid, but the implementation and then the problem. That's our problem. Enti minia doc said ya wokano say more man pania ba so aya de no the person catch say he who much is giving is much expected. Yene de to me na say ombra me ye de oye no enyo no ane pen ode bae said ya na no man pania okroma yi oba ya wo dini nsem dini ade obi busan say the constitution na do bae na na mpa ko say no the man for children so onye no no constitution de mfa nto baby. Iti yan ono no mampani Mahama de yan ya ka kire nso omeye no eno no onyama yin on go contrary on found chamber bia e say ono oba hu o man problems koko fo sika no wo mfa ma o na sem bia etunka because so ba ka kire say kodi bo afoko
Cocoa issue, no. Me, I think it's about cocoa, but I think it's about time Ghana have to stop subsidy about things in the country. No?
The entire cocoa sem no, omampani Mahama me pese cocoa for you music say. So mobile na cocoa ne boss ro. E na mo fudia de ntimo sem de gu apebo e na swati.
And this strategy, Nkrumah started this very strategy.
So if they started this strategy, now why don't you change it? Is it a good way and they akofa kabai? Why didn't
they store it very well? And they will still make their money in times 2 or times 3.
So if they knew the value will go up, then they should pay them what they should not reduce it, they should pay to them, pay to the farmers. And then a cost what for Zika? When everyone say when a crafty about the as a cotuman fab and water good. I cotuman fab and water good. Ono dear, what down the buy or their bro. So the begua me caba and was who dear gua me caba on the one found. On the Ukrainian the unfound. It do the fancy camera. So it is over to me store. Let you let your price I was rap. Uber cock 2 billion crap, creating unfound. The bia the musisi na musisi wo na sa be teso dia na doctor be catch them to Cote d'Ivoire akra de akra in less than 1,000 me no nya adwene me support sa wo adwene na wo kan say Cote d'Ivoire 1,000 ti no Ghanaians you understand say e bo na ba for the world market. Oh doctor na me kan tan pa e big time me dey me na ya we o kan betim e kwaya koko fo fa so yo mo adwuma no akuafo onu doctor so no ne maame ne papa no be akuafo onim kwa mfa so me koko ya mo bobo si akoto nro spray koko so ene Ghana kura se ne ma boa afum abafum ukoto MPK ni ade a ne bo no de tia na tie na kuani be kwa ko bosi akoto ni ade a se ne de mu ye mu na mo makwan se akuafo nto mo nsa se mfa ntu galamsi because we say you are paving way for the farmers to sell their land for galamsi. Because afimunu nyina yearly thing afimunu you better cocoa no twice major one ene a chire die friend kunkwam no ene no mote kunkwam no kra de wunya dodo na ebeba say dia ene obeto agigala obeto amobi am no de tugalam say na kakra obenya no ode ne ba na kwakotena UK na say Germany ene na otwe bia wabre no 50 euro de to de ne dia atense mfa so obeba so enti aban no omonhwe na omontutu omniema ye enye kasa paper so kasa tentene de for the past since 1922 basically Second Republic people so kasa na doso as a doso sin adwuma na ese omo ye no Ghana ya kachiri bebri in terms of infrastructure ya kachiri bebri enye ubesi Kumasi Central Market na ube KJT na ese wa infrastructure no your major infrastructure a benefit the continent. We say Kumasi Accra Highway benefited the whole Africa, like the West African region. A benefit of ya. Yantia na Burkina Faso, Mali Faso, Benin Faso na fa eba. So no nam. Yes. Ye besa asro mampani. Omo ya omo nye. Na fe ye kwan no so to ni sa ne ma na wo so nyina omo san famra. Omo nua mo akwata mo.
He brought it up. Or can one or the tools in Baba don't advance.
Yes.
High technology to make
That's
sure
it.
they can get. I say, oh, okay, somebody will bring it back, but they will bring they will advance it compared to first.
To the first, no, you're good. Say, Chroma, it says, will be an Egypt or now, me over 1 month near me, quite Boston. Yeah, you are Boston. Now, you bring me bill $714, less than 2 months. Two, me kwakutia. Intino, almost some family. No munya say, a month for nam ye kwan zu free a kwan no so say na ayen sem bebre. Ye besre. Say the okan no ba paper the efe. By a bompa ye so mbetimi aye no wan sa. Na me de satellite market na sa 24-hour market ne de. Mesro mampani ene na pamfo. Say NDC fo bi tie mi na banfo bi tie. Sa satellite market na kufu ado ye ya akeka wuram or district outdo no. They should turn that one to 24-hour market rather than to start a new one. MY Esikase. Manwasi.
May I say, MY Esikase.
Finally, let me say the one who sit that.
Can I feed the atlas of that? My apostle, the Yana but remember second part.
Doc, I think, sir, the na now will be a person.
Oh, a lot.
Okay.
In fact, Edu baby crap now. I was confused. Say, anybody meeting and I say MPP propaganda secretary meeting. No, I'm confused. Why confused? Is he? That is politics for you. MPP saying MPP to the side and NDC. You know me, like I say all the time, you know. Yeah, America, America. Is it bad? You have to understand, say, more than 70% of Ghanaians at Waba, close to 70% of Ghanaians at Waba Mahama. So on Bebuma, you know, and on 1 month 4 years. Into there's nothing any of us can do about it. Oh, yes, yeah. Into he has the mandate. Majority of Ghanaians, there's a difference between mandate and he say at Waba, okay. He has the mandate. Not just say he got close to 70% of the people. Ballot cast, you know. So on Bebuma, you know. Obia so to a baby and say a bind or baby and ordinary plans near agenda and the buy. And we all have something called manifesto. Obia reading the manifesto. Everybody talked about what they were coming to do. And majority of Ghanaians say NDC, MPP. And I can say, okay, I think sir, we like what NDC is saying into no almost and this is what they are doing. Into no some of us now you fully within the 30% now about NDC. No. Some of us, of course, we will still be talking and saying, say, be a mobile money. But master, deep down in our hearts, we know, say, or buy a YABB. Oh, send the Americans on your crampo, what's petrol. Oh, on your crampo, there are things that you are seeing where you COVID living if you will. Can you imagine, say, COVID came more than 1 year, 2 years, and people were still paying for COVID levy? Tell a chronobenson no. Chronobenson no. I remember, say, 2021, I call Ghana. Charlie, me call Ghana and I made banner say me COVID test and some about Charlie, you know how much I paid in Ghana for the COVID test? And the stress how am I feel? Now I have to come to Accra and go to a private hospital or clinic. Now I call COVID test and pay a lot of money, and then I have to wait for 2 days or 3 days or for the result for me to be able to travel. Charlie, it was too much. It was too much. Oh, and you know, I'm not saying say be NDC by you know. Me when MPP was in power, of course. Before MPP will come to power, I say this all the time, Pooh. Say a friend saying campaign or more year Cape Coast, you know. I contributed to MPP. What did I say? Because I was Akufo-Addo New York and I thought say he had a plan for Ghanaians. What did I say? And you know, me support too. Oh, I supported with my car, so I'm for campaign. Oh, and you know, me, I'm not a politician, me in the party chief, but me tell you now as someone year, I will support you. Brother, at this point, you know, NDC or NDC government is a politician ben waba why you 100% perfectly. And yet then they will progress somewhere and then they will retrogress somewhere. What do you say? And you know, me, I'm looking at the bigger picture. NDC by you know, Ghana for sitting at the same. Ghana ni be a bedi adansi actually say. NDC by you know, yeah, titi petrol so. To the extent to say drivers or more driver no are refusing to reduce the fares. Can you imagine? I say a Senate task force. Oh, the same people now you say, yeah, can say. Mama, I say, we are the same people that impede the progress of the government. Oh, petrol was 17 cities, and the anti petrol so about 9 cities. We are driver, auto petrol, and I would drive. And you true, you say auto spare part, you say we say, but how many times? How many times and a driver auto spare part? Oh, spare part there once in a while, maybe be a say no one could change it. If you are 6 months to cry, won't change your car. Oh, drivers are using spare part as an excuse to say they are buying spare part and expensive. Internal, first of all, no, the first, you know, it got to where it is right now because na petrol boy day. It's a 2 petrol man, I'm to first. Say, I got petrol so. I don't want to first, you know, so. Na Ghanaians no mo foka no so no o mo sitemu mo kakra. Oh, it's you know this is what we are saying is of course senior Ohineba air can say ejuma na Mahama si we be any de on any nya adwen no. I will say it differently because we know we don't have the data to back what we are saying whether we try and try so old jantro. There are so many positions in Ghana, you will never know. What do you say? It's unfortunate to say you lay people off no not the back account. Rather, it's very unfortunate. What do you say? But I might be a bar or the agenda and ever. Akufo-Addo by no, he laid some people off. Catch him sebeboa. Akufo-Addo by no, he sacked some people. Because if you are not going to align with my agenda, I'll let you go. And normal with politics. And a lot of people who have these political positions, they know. Fufuraba or say national health insurance, and can agenda on pe obetwem. Or can you Ghana for you 2 na moto abamano? Waba into osi obetwem. Afe also a section of the public Muslim here. For example, Donald Trump. He told the people, say, me close to border no. I'll fix the border. And I'm a boy. Donald Trump is your boy fix immigration. He didn't hide it. Trump he's fixing immigration. But people are now crying to say they didn't hear the man say or fix immigration. And not America for to Obama. America for to Obama Trump because 1, economy, number 2, immigration. 80 Trump banner or fix immigration that affect you. Don't cry. What do you say? The same applies to young politics of Ghana. Edu baby Ghana, everybody was crying. Akufo-Addo was careless. I'm fighting home, careless. I'm fighting home. What do you say? Masa, me madam for MPP, me madam for MPP for. And now we have before you. Because first of all, no, MPP abamba strong MPP for ni from me person me boy baby crony you know that they will know the people. Akufo-Addo any nebedi echire for ni MCA year mu nyina no. Charlie, they ignored this die-hard MPP people who helped the party to come to power. I'm telling you, my friends, my best friends devoted their time. Everyone 2 days, 3 days, you call fee and the party the party actually ne ya boamu ye di dio motem isio to no mu nemu ewi abo no mu nemu masa party ni ba power no the MCE of the town no offer different people party in struggle they were not there and or the obedi nechi and or the local contracting and the mass angle for no. But the people killed themselves for the party to come to power. They are hungry. Up to now, they are hungry. They are hungry. And almost support the party. You see, so politics is very dicey. Me, I'm looking for positives. I'm looking for idea about community and say be away. Hey, you're good. Masa, when was the last time what is a school feeding program? No, Obi eco strike. These are some of the things that I want to see or hear. Those days, ne the enka, ne enchiaye, and a school for I feel ye must school for Dianibio, ne school for no, su, a dianema, and adea, mamino ye catron or ye dianema school for the enchianeca. Master sometimes you know, you traf a video, a bibina diabetes social media. A dianian lady, I say a rice, and insure, I say I am fine. Insure and I say insure. Near the man when was the last time you heard something like that? These are some of the things that may affect me because maybe one fast food baby or go school. Oh, near Canada, it doesn't affect me. Me, maybe she be on your farm or anybody.
Wofa kuku pa wofa wo ya senge.
Ahin ba only can one shut down farming no.
No.
Somebody
if farming you fishing. You fishing.
Good one shut down. Good one shut down per farming.
Ye tia abanim ya tia se we nche.
Inti. Oh, Masa, when was the last time I would say premix and hun tokwa AC? Tell me, when was the last time I would say premix fights? Those days. What's your new CBR premix? What's your new CBR premix in Tokwankwa? Oh, those days, you know, in Kabine Bafofra, we are no more toilet. They fight over toilet. Oh, public toilet way, I buy for Frabanti, I just kiss nephew in some Sisama by Nabanti any so. When was the last time you heard something like that? Ewa Ghana. When was the last time? Miss Sanya Manyama we make a club more. And I mean, no, me didn't rate ya by Abasu. Sanyama way enemy direct abaso. I'm hoping say the next government say NDC say MPP. Charlie, o man ni ye oh, me adia ba ko say no me happy with. Oh, me feel say at the right time we'll talk about it no. Hey, the way say you ko Ghana yan kwan no ete. I don't have any problem with project air cost baby. What I say Kumasi for Omufata Road, Papa. Accra for Fata Road, Papa. Cape Coast for Fata Road, Papa. My problem is that if it Accra air Cape Coast no road no, you took to swear to Winneba Junction. Bruh, and you minim say now say some of you more Ghana recently more fast a Cape Coast Accra road now.
Yeah, road construction.
If you Ghana by exactly a year ago, maybe Ghana about 25th of February last year.
Yeah.
If maybe Cape Coast, if you Accra, if Obuase, you remember Yamransa be Cape Coast.
Yamransa.
I'm probably by it. Cape Coast will be back one day. Me fast the one in your cry.
So me point in the say, oh yeah, yate yabo abaso, but that is not how a road construction should be. Oh,
yeah. So, Dr. Mincho, I think the problem with that, me insight and say, Ghana don't say your structure, you see it and be manaba. We don't have excess road outside the original road. Into more yeah, so on better bypass me use and sana on my road. Ye ni ho o me put down be and sana maboka. Until after that, we say yes cars and enze bubium. That's what me realize. Most of the house, you know.
Kofi, Kofi, that is not even my argument. Yes, you are right. But that is not even my argument. My argument and say if you are constructing a road, a major road, one of the major roads in Ghana, Cape Coast Takrady Accra Road. Because remember, say Takrady so habo. Enti no nipa bebre no ebi omo firi Kumase ni Sunyane ni Techima ni ade omo shepu kasa. Samo enyo bia no de ni de fatama o. Sesia bebre de Takrady.
Yeah.
Oh, into no major economical road or economic road no. So who ye roader? Oh, to say America omu ye roader. Omu ye ebia a double roader omu ye one. No more close to the other one. In the case you now be use one lane whilst they are fixing the other lane. Say that meaning
Yeah.
Oh, dual carriage, you know. Ye nyina ye ko south. But a kwan no e 2 and any nyina ko south no. Ombe fixe ba ko e ko south. Na cars no e use near e outer lane no while they fix the inner lane no. Omu wi a na fe omu aba the outer lane no omu bie inner lane atum. Oh, into traffic no a flow. Afen so no who ye 200-kilometer road a. Want to road now to 100 kilometers. No. Oh, we be 30 or 40 kilometers first. We fix here no na fe wa say aba na wa be another 40-30. Na we fix the road no ko. But we to two road no ni nyina o tede left and right oh. Left and right at a point and I saw kaswa ukafa kaswo kro ni mu.
Yep.
Oh, na masa. Me say me ties two nyina ko papa eh.
Yeah, I experienced the same thing.
Me ties two nyina papa eh. Why? Aden. Who ye road no pona? Wo de near Efi Accra. Ko Takrady no. Start say wo ye no. Na class nyina no ye use near Efi Takrady ba Accra no. Say eno so no ye betumi use no ya che road no. Masa, what to tuning in so engineering, what kind of engineering brain and that is and I don't so no road na to na road na enya no what sign the barriers be 50 ebeguso.
Oh yeah, Cape Coast kwane dey afa enya no.
Masa enyo.
Yes, afa no Cape Coast kwane no barriers. Enya na dwon enya na dwon mo start I think say 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Yes.
And now the bobe 10 na and so be but I know be say no. Every 1 mile be here. But I think say me for me, I think it's good because I'm not crime in Shadani Cape Coast Kwan so.
And I'm just say, it's good. That idea, yeah. But the Amichini say barrier of police for Nankasano causing traffic instead of the member traffic flow.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the barrier is there to make sure that people are safe. It is not there to take money from the people. But I say, it is there to obi wana stop car no, na traffic na blocking, na car no, police we're leaning into driver on the side and not only the aid din komo say Charlie omu dibuo. Was ye jina car de chi o ye train.
Yep.
Can you imagine? No mu dibuo. This is what I'm saying. Say emwa. Which I said, that's the only problem I have with senior award contract. Any senior person road near now saying I'm out for video, but at the social media pass traffic as he said, what's what crowd Kumasi road no, and the calling the door was a him fan bra, and also
yeah, but the last time I cook Kumasi, I think I have to go through a break. I went through a break. Traffic, I go through a break, and then. Pure should I see the betchy in some on and then you're gone. That one then you're good.
Charlie. You see, at the end of the day, these are politicians. Still Mama Bino still are young. We don't know. We don't know yet. Oh, ebedu baby no ana promise or no ana enyumenu ya no de beda da ye bia e kire corona fe almost start diska no must start misappropriating yama. We will see. Time on so here. I'm still waiting, I'm still looking. And at this point, I don't want to rush to bastardize them, say, "Bia, what they are doing is this or that." I'm not saying that. Of course, there are some things that maybe they are not doing right, but at this point in the day, so far no, any bad. But we are still looking. And yeah, but they are still young, and then we are still looking. And I make us say cocoa prices are king. I think say NPP no, they are too quick to politicize it. And what you say? So when it comes to inflation, inflation, I just say I didn't swing it. I swing it, I swing about. I swing it, I swing about. Inflation and static, dynamic. What do you say? Into no, Chesiano, affect BBA. Into dollar no so swing it, and now affecting your meaning. Are possible say as we move forward, things will improve. Na sikana si abasro na kokofu ani age. Possible so say as we move forward in putting yaman kra ebe se kra. I think that it's too early for MPP to hold on to cocoa issue no to so I don't know the only thing that MPP is talking about say to me it's not as strong. You can't convince all Ghanaians with this. Ghana for hina cocoa farmers. Uko makola se siana Komakola says here, say me the cocoa as some politics. Mokola women are here for no which me a winium. They don't give a damn. Cocoa farmers say to a crave, me cocoa farmers. And see, me to me as a politician, me MPP near. Make I say munyabutre. Oh, a timing, munyabutre. My mom pre-baby find your politics. I say here no work in sim because possible surprises make me as I rise and check. To Munyabutre. Me, the thing that I want MPP to handle and tackle, issues are affecting at least 60% of Ghanaians. Electricity, water, prices of goods. What do I say? Importation, baby formula, diapers, sanya manyama way. And I say MPP to me build the coalition before research. No, to me research. It say MPP no say die na ekoso. Nia wahi na ekosoro. Nia wahi na eba fom. Nia abreso na ye ton sen. NDC ba yi omo ton sen. Die na eko. So me these are some of the things that I believe that upese we politics pa go that way. Pass ne water saying. Sisi alcohol hospital insurance no still ING and ING. Oh, so nyama way any here. Cocoa de affect only cocoa farmers. Necessiano, any farmers in Ampo, only cocoa farmers. The cocoa farmers ankasano omododo saying. Does it affect election in Ghana? No. Manuesi.
But as a doctor, and there was submission. Yeah, Brennan, I think you're an error apostle. But my main call or Hinabaho. Now, on funny, the submission toss me a number now on rapport.
Propaganda secretary. Propaganda secretary.
Can propaganda we be too to continue.
I don't go.
Doctor say Mahama Banye too young to criticize them. I know the Okasa meaning again. So a young dear, any young government is a newly formed government. Mahama Banye young, any new government. No honor koye, and also a kosua bibi no aba. Indeed, he's in it already. He knew the game. What you say? No, what the president ni bida. And yes, or young so ni bida. We be be pain. And he know what it is. When in the woman in and out of Ghanaian politics, how to win, how to govern, and how to rule. When in the rules of the game. Into when you're young, the doctor, what dear, me no nya so young. Into the osese wa ye no nim the osese wa ye dada. Into when you're na juma.
Propaganda secretary no.
Yen kasa fe no apantino young ntina Dr. Mark Kawe young was anu afa no wadi dabi ye man fa uni onya young wom dada agrona wom di doctor de okan nyina ye say MPP force stay back na komo hwe ne makakra da bi ebagin sem ye so start kasam za abre ya o kasam a ebi wa ube feli bi won so ebe konanim o dia ze politics ne de eze Ghana politics na no ye kase transia atwen mane wa ya na ne ma bia sei do mo nyiro mo nkasa so mo no mo kasa ba me abehwe do so be because I don't want to go there means ankofo no mo sisi NDP abam sisi am there awo senka NDP abam be biwa kasa ankofo nyu na obi am bibi because they are the same people kamenya kraka omina we sideline them and bring new people edi fi the mechanism omampani John Dramani Mahama onyere ne honye adwuma ne de onyere ne honye sa adwuma unze wiase nkasa ye de ade so nsa na ye ni ya nya na aba ho aba so ye wo kire ni de be hu abo aba so the later part of omampani that John Adekunkufu aban na ma fo hun say John Adekunkufu aban ne people were criticizing fu eba fam te so omampani that cement so oba kono ate so with all no ene ye ka one of the best government ever under the Fourth Republic untimi nyo unyi opani that John Adekunkufu aban film because of the purely interventions na ye extraordinary na bi nsi da ode bae bi say free maternal care, national health insurance, two major key policies in the net ye bon die so mampani da for na ban na papa both politics both side NPP and this no bi aka say it was good into mampani John Dramani Mahama nya a good legacy like mampani da for ne fan kana say mampani Akufo ado ya de obi aka say wanya de a wadada but enema kakra bi e be tagging won enema wi ntiro and now see I said that money di papa sa seriously nipa money di papa sa nipa dim so ya adwuma based on free SHS intervention good but chinchira kan na e be tare ho ntino ze ne money di papa for ya tamu issue aba ye university mi no ya racial force mi nye no bi atena ministry appointment for 7 years 6 years 5 years 4 years o se mi nye racial for sa de na course ni ntino ene nipa bi hu ne ho ayi nipa bi ahi o manum including on one party members but omampani da John Adekunkufu periodic reshuffle periodic change oya adwuma no okonanim ene ye boni dia ye kasa ne asore. That is how we want omampani John Dramani Mahama to leave such a legacy like omampani da J Kufuor na okwa ya kase mo appear for war be mamu esiemu se jata uba e wonso de oba eni ya ba odi akasem omiye nani na onya adwuma no yenim so obetumi aye ise waba mu da na wakwaba ne de ye frɛ waba bio obetumi ayo nti onyere no
Mahama da wasena wafutu
omiye nani because so be failure the people around him obe progress the people around him nti o manani na o ade ye kan say Ghana for ye nipa bi a omo asodin na doctor eka politics mu de se duru brebi na wan punish nipa nsesa forget about say beto ama wana ye ntoma o so waba be opposition na opposition do the right thing a brass to say Ghanaians we need to whip them nyemo mu say yes ade ni say that here say the kan doctor kan hwe ye titifu so kra welfare truck drivers taxi for obscene so na hwe omo koko ka of ye ntoaba ontoaba who one tia no
say me chowa no want to say Mahama to tax force ma omo boat drivers who anhwe bi
kumasi kra bi sie kumasi kra bi ho yeah
omo punish drivers rough
because we need to whip them because see ya nyesa o man ntimi chichire o man chichire no enye ewo so good nipa nim de na de chichire man sometimes some people need to feel it. They need to feel it. Those stubborn people need to feel it in the country, not turn it around. Because when men trouble ma any atoma o nipa ba ko de on trouble on kono baby men na na tia so kan o say sabe koto na so nkoto ankwase afo hyembra anyansafo ne di so nti za on koto a kwase afo no be kwa koto ama wu nyansani no wa be hyembra na so be di so we need to whip them because Ghana for bi no so den Teso was a so that is why Lawrence came with that control that time of boom crofo. Yes, so boom crofo. And the people are crying like a leader like Lawrence because Sabre Kwaneni person here say you. And so still yet omo. And then the person here delete to the sense say who the kind of era that we are living in now. It's company John Dramani Mahama. Say what it near so near come market ness and live one was right. Yan starting young mochi. Yan year or mo yan chum de so way. None your man and yes stable. By the end of it on the ordinary Ghanaian and on number class here, Mamma craft and Pomo no Tiagran. One bed in Cotonso.
Yeah.
Because on the come market, he said, Niamana Anya, the funner consumer, I am mammy on the bread. So,
that is true.
A brass was said, your mom, man, Nipabitia says, and you'll be idea. A bambako, a bambaba. Yan Ghana found the oho. Inti yenya dia yenyina ebetumi aboa me yenyina ho atoy rather than say nipa kakra bi and none na be tie news for one of the radio stations Kumasi say ne plantain chips cry yachi e mai koto anwa gallon obetumi dia chi plantain chips ayi kia container ni nyina ne say omo de rubber to anwanim chi na che say just what kind of people are Ghanaians now nipa bi agene na o ye we adi aya awudura mo bi adi abewu. What is this? We need to beat them. We need to let them know the right thing to do.
Now one thing yes, and the beans credit cement na show who say yeah the cement na yeah.
I think one some last week Kumasi one of the FM stations.
We share video no yeah.
Na safo nyina so kwasi ara no me ndani fiara mo aso dem o fee.
Yeah.
What kind of preaching na sofo preach kire and asofo no nka no kora ne nkire omo ana say Ghana for na mentality ni say ye bu ye ni ye kunu ni akoda hu nyame ase waso dem u ye we akoda nyame ase u ye we apesika ko to collection waso dem nyame say sika fi ope say de o ye de say wakoji sika duro so u ye u duro we mo bi di wu di sika ko to collection e sika duro di sika na de akwaso dem o kum nipa it's a brasso be the say Ghana Standard Board and the FDA they need to get such places no crown as a buy and pro nipa more. Not task force bomb near tea who go monte so market outdoor near some vigilante work no near grounds work naka and your stable. Kwanya sadia abanbe kasa abanbe ko abanbe ba obi aba ebe hwebuada fi me do man see.
But I say about annual presentation. Doctor, what's your last word?
Charlie, I didn't know him back and you know. Yeah, I can't say a free and they'll call you gun in the woods. Yeah, we may talk about based on issues, not based on politics. What do you say?
Based on policies.
Policies, yes. Utie ni any panic can so be ya. We may miss questions. What do you say? Hey, obey crime ban or be fast obey. Na yenjai say yeah no HC t-shirt any 100 Ghana cedis any a rice and I'm saying a Baba Jama need ye all ye primacy Charlie I'm out for inside and on with the TV
I think moto bicycle
yeah I mean motorbike yeah much motorbike near the you know the question is Charlie what are we doing to ourselves what do you say? What are we doing to ourselves? Church, yeah, the Adriani, me ferry imposo be the Adriani na Tommy, semi koto abamano. Ferry, hey, yeah, yeah, inti, yeah, that's the only thing I can say. Say, let's vote with our conscience. Let's vote according to our needs. According to our future, according to our children, not according to Adriani. And I say be according to a friend saying a TV will be the amount because who to Abama TV in the actual 8 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and TV in the best say. Is the TV going to feed you? No. So let's vote with our conscience. Kakra me tumi aka.
Obiaso medamu nyina se nyame enhyira mo wa hwe adwumedi esusu ye da waso papa sa okan ye ho na hwe adwumedi bra ye sha se bepem sabre 4 minutes past 3 p.m. Yame adma na sande be say share biom na ya twetwe nkomo ahora paso ina mo ase
our macroeconomic stability and improve the standards of living of our citizens and build a lasting prosperity for future generations. This is what the gun wrap policy seeks to achieve. Mr. Speaker, we abolished nuisance taxes that were levied on Ghanaians between 2017 and 2024. These included the e-levy, the betting tax, the emission tax, the COVID levy, and so forth. Mr. Speaker, we have reformed VAT comprehensively. One, by abolishing the 1% COVID-19 levy, decoupling Get Fund and NHIL from VAT, reducing the effective VAT rate from 21.9% to 20%, raising the VAT threshold to 750,000 Ghana cedis to exclude petty businesses, and extending zero rating on textiles up to 2028. Mr. Speaker, these fiscal reforms have effectively put 6 billion Ghana cedis back into the pockets of Ghanaians. Interest rates have fallen from above 30% to currently between 18 and 20%, freeing up credits for businesses and households. And according to the Ghana Statistical Services, over 1 million Ghanaians have found employment between Q1 and Q3 of 2025. Mr. Speaker, and 950,000 Ghanaians have escaped multidimensional poverty over the same period. Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to report that our external position has strengthened significantly. By December 2025, our current account recorded a surplus of 9.1 billion, representing 8.1% of our GDP. This is a remarkable increase from 1.5 billion or 1.8% of GDP in 2024. These achievements have been driven by robust gold, cocoa, and non-traditional exports, and increased remittance inflows. This improvement demonstrates that our economy is gaining strength and resilience again on the global stage. We've moved decisively from planning to action on our flagship 24-hour economy and accelerated export development program. This was officially launched in 2025, and this transformative initiative is designed, 1, to unlock round-the-clock economic activity, 2, deepen our value chains across key sectors, 3, boost productivity and support export growth, and 4, create quality jobs in agriculture, manufacturing, logistics, and services. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank this August House. On 6 February 2026, this House passed the 24-Hour Economy Authority Bill. This has established the regulatory framework and the legal mandate that was necessary for full implementation. Last week, at the cabinet meeting held, I had the honor of signing this historic legislation into law. All is now set for takeoff. This is the boldest economic transformation initiative in Ghana's recent history. Mr. Speaker, in this year's budget, 110 million has been allocated to begin the setting up and implementation of the 24-Hour Economy Authority. These resources will enable businesses to operate beyond traditional business hours. They will attract investment through strategic partnerships with the Development Bank of Ghana and the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, and will strengthen the foundations for sustained growth and job creation, especially for our young people. This is about building prosperity and restoring our people's hope through concrete action. Mr. Speaker, a nation that does not learn from past mistakes cannot get out of the cycle of problems that impose hardships on its citizens. We've just begun to emerge from the most devastating economic crisis in our nation's recent history. This crisis was triggered by general financial indiscipline, huge deficits, and massive debts that were occasioned by persistent and unbudgeted expenditure to meet the ends of convenient politicking. In the last week, we have had to take the painful but necessary decision to revise the producer price of cocoa to achieve competitive pricing and resolve the acute liquidity challenges in the sector. Mr. Speaker, failure to do this as others did and left a debt of 32 billion for this government to pay. Failure to do this would have meant borrowing billions in borrowed funds. Mr. Speaker, this unplanned expenditure would have taken us right back to the very devastating economic problem we have only recently begun to escape. So, Mr. Speaker, while fully understanding the concerns and protests of our farmers, I can firmly assure them that the reforms announced by government will see a total transformation of the cocoa sector. And it will guarantee them a fair and transparent price that enables them to meet the cost of producing the commodity and making decent margins. Mr. Speaker, the difference between economic hardship and avoiding the same is the exercise of sound economic judgment. And I'm determined to take decisions that ensure our collective well-being and avoid the suffering of all our citizens. These are difficult decisions to take, but Mr. Speaker, I had to take them. Mr. Speaker, we are bringing legislation to this House to tighten our procurement processes by banning sole source contracts, except in exceptional circumstances. We'll also bring legislation to this House to make it mandatory to seek Parliament's prior approval before any government asset or property is leased out or sold. This includes lands and state enterprises. Mr. Speaker, last Tuesday, I caused the Minister of Finance to lay before this House the value for money office bill. This is a landmark measure, a fulfillment of yet another campaign promise to the good people of Ghana. And this is designed to decisively end waste, inflated contracts, abandoned projects, and chronic cost overruns that have for far too long drained the public purse. All these measures are intended to improve public trust and accountability. Mr. Speaker, in January 2025, we inherited an energy sector on the brink of collapse that had been precipitated by a severe financial crisis. The sector was burdened with a staggering debt of 80 billion Ghana cedis, strengthening the operational viability of key power producers. The 500 million World Bank partial risk guarantee, a critical risk mitigation instrument that was established in 2015 during my first term to safeguard the nearly 8 billion of private sector investment that was put into the offshore Cape Trade Points field, had been fully drawn down and exhausted due to prolonged non-payment for gas consumed. Mr. Speaker, at the distribution level, the Electricity Company of Ghana was plagued by high commercial and technical losses, collecting only 62% of the energy it purchased from generators and declaring less than 50% of its collection into the cash waterfall mechanism. Mr. Speaker, the result was severe liquidity shortfalls and power challenges throughout 2024. In the petroleum sector, years of policy inconsistency, regulatory inefficiencies, a lack of transparency, prolonged licensing processes, and unresolved legal disputes over field unitization had eroded investor confidence. Consequently, crude oil production declined by approximately 32% between 2019 and 2024. It fell from 71.4 million barrels per day to 48.2 million barrels. Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to announce that as of December 31st, 2025, government has fully repaid and restored the entire 500 million World Bank guarantee, including interest. This has reinstated the facility in full and reaffirmed Ghana's standing as a credible and reliable partner on the global stage. Mr. Speaker, I can also announce that we are paying for every gas we are consuming today. In addition, between January and December 2025, through carefully coordinated policy actions, the government settled all outstanding gas invoices that were owed to ENI and Vitol, amounting to approximately $500 million. And so Ghana is now fully up to date with its gas consumption obligations to the Sankofa partners. And I'm pleased to announce that the 2026 budget has made adequate provision to ensure timely payments for all liquid natural gas that we consume going forward. Mr. Speaker, to ensure equity and fairness, the government has also held constructive engagements with Tallow Oil and the Jubilee Field partners, and we've reached a comprehensive roadmap to guarantee full payment for all gas that is consumed. This approach supports reliable nationwide electricity generation and accelerates industrial growth. Engagement with upstream partners has resulted in increased gas production, guided by a clear national vision to rapidly scale up domestic gas supply and reduce reliance on expensive liquid fuels. Mr. Speaker, beyond clearing inherited arrears, a robust framework has also been established to strengthen and monitor implementation of the cash waterfall mechanism. Another major milestone was the operationalization of the ECG's single holding account, which is overseen jointly by the Ministry of Energy and Green Transitions and the PURC. This intervention has significantly reduced revenue leakages, and it has enhanced ECG's capacity to meet its payment obligations. To address the high cost of power, the government has successfully renegotiated existing power purchase agreements. Engagement with the 9 independent power producers have resulted in a 250 million immediate savings and 1.1 billion of legacy debt restructured for payments between the period 2026 and 2028. These revised agreements will be submitted to Cabinet, and I'm pleased to inform you, Mr. Speaker, will be brought here to Parliament for ratification. Mr. Speaker, under the Rural Electrification Program, 200 out of the 400 targeted communities have been connected to the national grid, with a further 100 at various stages of completion. The national electricity access for Ghana today stands at 89.05. We are committed to ensuring that every Ghanaian has access to reliable, affordable electricity. It is worrying that the Electricity Company of Ghana continues to experience high power losses, with reports indicating that around 25% of generated power is lost. To address this phenomenon and anchor the gains we have made, adopting private sector participation, particularly in billing and collection, is the most effective way to significantly reduce these losses. Cabinet has approved the multiple lease method for concessions in the distribution utilities, and work is ongoing to implement this critical reform. Mr. Speaker, the Bui Power Authority has completed an additional 50 megawatts of solar power. In the distributed solar sector, 30 megawatts was achieved through rooftop installations, bringing our total installed capacity to 250 megawatts of solar, and this represents 5% of renewable energy in our entire generation mix. A few months ago, I broke ground for a 200 megawatt solar power project at the Dawa Industrial Zone, with the first 100 megawatts scheduled for completion in December 2026. The Ministry of Energy and Green Transitions is constructing 35 mini grids to serve 47 islands and lakeside communities in the Oti, Savannah, and Bono East regions. The ministry will also supply 12,000 new smart net meters from the end of the first quarter of this year, 2026. And under the off-grid solar home system for public institutions, delivery of materials for the first phase of 350 systems has commenced. It means that public institutions are going to be fitted with solar to reduce their power consumption. Mr. Speaker, as part of the last mile electrification effort to achieve 99.98% universal access by 2030, the ministry has mainstreamed mini grids into the national electrification scheme. Consequently, a feasibility study for the Afram Plains North District was completed for 100 communities to receive solar power, bringing the total number of islands and lakeside communities in the Afram Plains North and South to 150 that are ready for mini-grid solar electrification. I'm pleased to announce that the African Development Bank has committed to providing $100 million to fund the construction of renewable energy-based mini-grids for these communities. Mr. Speaker, we've signed a memorandum of understanding with the Jubilee and Tenfield partners to commit another $2 billion to additional investment in the Jubilee field. This will include drilling up to 20 new wells, the first wells being drilled in more than 9 years. Mr. Speaker, there's a second memorandum of intent with the OCTP partners, that's ENI and Vitol, to commit $1.5 billion of additional investment in the OCTP field in the Cape 3 Points Block 4 contract area, among others. This agreement will significantly increase Ghana's oil and gas production, thereby enhancing energy security, domestic demand, and infrastructure development. Mr. Speaker, we're on course to revitalize the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company through a strategic partnership with the National Petroleum Authority, Ghana Gas, and the Ghana Commercial Bank. This will boost production, ensure a steady supply of safe LPG cylinders, and strengthen local manufacturing. Mr. Speaker, I'm also pleased to announce to you that Tema Oil Refinery is back. The new management of the refinery has successfully completed extensive turnaround maintenance. And I'm pleased to inform you that this August House that for the first time since 2018, the refinery has commenced processing of crude oil into petroleum products again. So, Mr. Speaker, let me assure our countrymen and women that the energy sector reforms continue unabated. I remain fully committed to turning around the sector, strengthening its foundations, and ensuring reliable, affordable, and sustainable energy security for our nation. Mr. Speaker, agriculture remains central to our national renewal. Since January 2025, this administration has embarked on a decisive reset of Ghana's agricultural sector under our Agriculture for Economic Transformation agenda, with the Feed Ghana program serving as the flagship vehicle for implementation. Our objective is clear: to restore food sovereignty, stabilize food prices, reduce import dependence, increase decent jobs, especially for youth, and reposition agri as a strategic growth sector under our 24-hour economy policy. Mr. Speaker, as of January 2025, food inflation stood at 28.3%, following an unprecedented peak of 61% in January 2023. This situation placed severe pressure on households and undermined national stability. Today, food inflation has declined significantly to 4.9%, and this has provided relief to Ghanaian families and businesses. Mr. Speaker, this year we have committed 300 million Ghana cedis to the National Food Buffer Stock Company to mop up excess produce, to stabilize prices, and build a strategic national food buffer against emergencies, marking the first time Ghana has deliberately built a food reserve for national resilience. Over 413 institutions, from basic schools through to tertiary institutions, have been registered and are actively participating in the Feed Ghana program. Institutional farming is currently being undertaken by the Ghana Armed Forces, the Ghana Prison Service, the National Service Authority, basic and second cycle schools, public universities, and faith-based organizations, including churches and mosques. A key pillar of the Feed Ghana program is the home gardening initiative. Across the country, families are being encouraged to grow vegetables at home and in their communities to reduce food expenditure, improve household nutrition, and enhance food availability. The Feed Ghana program is also firmly anchored on irrigation for wealth creation. Government is deliberately shifting our agriculture from rain-fed dependence to irrigation-based farming to support year-round production and also strengthen our climate resilience. And so over the past months, processes have begun for the following interventions: the construction of 2 new mega dams, the rehabilitation of 8 existing irrigation dams, and the construction of 250 solar-powered boreholes for farming communities and schools across the Northern Belt and Brong-Ahafo regions. In addition, major irrigation schemes, including the Via, Weta, Tanoso, Bong, Ashaman, and Aveime, are undergoing rehabilitation. While new inland valleys covering over 1,300 hectares are being developed to expand rice production. Under the Global Agriculture and Food Security Program, we've launched a 20 million agro-input distribution project to strengthen food and nutrition security across the Northern Savannah Ecological Zone. This project is being implemented in 12 districts across 6 regions, with a target of 50,000 farming households, including 30,000 women and youth. It will support the production of key staples such as maize, rice, soya bean, cowpea, granules, while promoting year-round vegetable cultivation through solar-powered micro-irrigation schemes for farmers groups and selected schools. The project is also supporting backyard and commercial poultry production, as well as the distribution of fertilizer and certified seeds to participating districts. This will help strengthen the poultry value chain. We're working to fulfill the promise of establishing farmer service centers across the country to modernize agriculture. Procurement processes are underway for a total of 660 tractors, 400 combined harvesters, and other agricultural equipment and implements. The first 11 farmer service centers will begin construction this year and will provide affordable access to land preparation, harvesting, storage, input supply, extension services, and equipment leasing, especially for smallholder farmers. Mr. Speaker, in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to cut short for the first farmer service center in the Afram Plains. Mr. Speaker, agriculture extension remains the backbone of productivity, and to address the current gap between farmers and extension officers, 540 motorbikes have been procured to improve extension coverage. 150 of those bikes have already been distributed, and we're employing 400 Feed Ghana district coordinators nationwide, while 10,000 young Ghanaians are being enrolled under a 4-year national service agripreneurial program with annual absorption into permanent employment. So far, 3,000 youth have been posted by the National Service Authority under the Agripreneur program. This intervention is strengthening frontline service delivery and creating employment opportunities for young people. We're also placing farmer cooperatives at the center of our agricultural transformation plan. As of October 2025, 70,000 community commodity-focused farmers cooperatives had been established nationwide. And they are serving as platforms to access inputs, mechanization services, climate advisories, aggregation, and fair market negotiation. Government is actively linking farmers to agro-industrial investments to stabilize prices, create jobs, and accelerate Ghana's journey towards food security. A major highlight of this effort is the 154 million Ghana-Italy irrigated commercial farming project to establish a 10,000 hectare irrigation model farm to produce rice, maize, soya, and tomatoes. All produce from this project will be sold locally. This intervention is strategic and designed to fast-track progress towards food security, ensure a reliable supply of raw materials for agro-processing, and reduce Ghana's dependence on food imports. Mr. Speaker, other key initiatives under the value addition and agro-industrial drive include rice processing facilities in the Upper East and Upper West regions, poultry feed production facilities in Ashanti, cashew and onion processing facilities in Bono East. In addition, a 40-ton per day soya processing plant is being established in northern Ghana to support soya bean farmers and reduce their feed costs. The shea industry is also being revived through secured export contracts and measures to protect raw material supplies. Mr. Speaker, to reduce Ghana's 300 to 400 million annual poultry import bill, Ghana has launched a comprehensive poultry farm-to-table project. These comprise 50 anchor or commercial farmers producing 4 million birds, 500 SMEs producing 3 million birds, and a small-scale Nkokon Kitinkiti backyard and a small-scale Nkokon Kitinkiti backyard poultry program that is targeting 3 million birds nationwide, with emphasis on women and young children. Mr. Speaker, the Nkokon Kitinkiti program is underway as I speak. And the target is to reach 60,000 households. Even before I launched the Nkokon Kitinkiti program, 720 beds had been distributed during the pilot phase to 13,000 farmers in 12 districts. I recently opened a poultry processing factory in Bichim to support expected production growth in the poultry sector. Mr. Speaker, education is important and it remains pivotal to our national transformation agenda. In this regard, the year 2025 was both eventful and momentous for Ghana's education sector. I'm pleased to report that all the flagship initiatives and commitments that were contained in our Reset Agenda Manifesto have been faithfully honored during the year under review. The No Fee Stress initiative was successfully launched in Koforidua, and as I speak has benefited over 152,000 young people, first-year students in public tertiary universities. The number of beneficiaries this year is projected to reach 220,000 first-year students. In collaboration with the Student Loan Trust Fund, I have good news for law students. Law students in Ghana will also be now able to access the student loan scheme to pursue their legal education. Mr. Speaker, the free tertiary education policy for persons with disability has also been launched and is now fully benefiting all eligible persons with disabilities enrolled in our tertiary institutions nationwide. Mr. Speaker, the 2025 academic year saw a stable, uninterrupted supply of quality food to all our schools under the free senior high school program. Mr. Speaker, to further deepen coordination, accountability, and effectiveness in the education sector, this Honorable House passed several important pieces of legislation. These include: 1, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology Bill 2025, the Ghana Scholarships Authority Bill 2025, the Change of University Names Bill 2025, the University for Development Studies Bill 2025, and the Ghana Education Trust Fund Bill 2025. To enhance private sector participation in the tertiary education sector, new legislation will be introduced in this House to ease regulatory bottlenecks and remove the requirement to charter, making it optional. Mr. Speaker, basic education remains the critical entry point into our education system. It is at this level that children acquire foundational literacy, numeracy, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills, upon which all future learning depends. Government understands the importance of the basic sector and is therefore undertaking a major policy shift to rebalance our education investments in favor of basic education. As part of this shift, the standards-based curriculum for kindergarten to primary 6 is currently under review to incorporate robotics, coding, and the responsible integration of generative artificial intelligence. Additionally, as part of the ongoing curriculum review, artificial intelligence education will be introduced at an age appropriate and developmentally sensitive, with a strong emphasis on ethical use, digital responsibility, critical thinking, and human values. Mr. Speaker, in response to the persisting challenge of schools under trees, this government has programmed a bold and decisive intervention for the 2026 financial year. This includes the construction of 200 kindergarten blocks, 200 new primary school blocks, 200 new junior high schools nationwide. And I'm further pleased to inform this House adequate allocation has been done in the 2026 budget. I'm further pleased to inform this House that the government has fully cleared all outstanding capitation grant arrears owed to the public basic schools, as well as clearing all outstanding arrears of BEC exam registration subsidies due to the West African Exams Council. For previous years, the legacy debts to West African Examinations Council have all been cleared. Mr. Speaker, education for learners with special needs is not only a moral right, but also a sound, pragmatic investment. And it promotes equity and strengthens social cohesion. In recognition of this, the amended Get Fund Act has established a dedicated, sustainable funding framework to implement free education for learners with special needs, beginning in the 2026 academic year. Government has also increased the daily feeding grant for students in public special schools from 8 cedis per day to 15 cedis per day. This significant increment reflects our resolve to address the unique nutritional and health needs of learners with disability. In addition, Mr. Speaker, we'll construct a modern state-of-the-art special needs school in Ho in the Volta region, and we'll rehabilitate and upgrade the existing special needs schools in Okropong, Ekwapim, in fulfillment of our pledge also to provide free sanitary pads to schoolgirls as part of efforts to improve menstrual hygiene and reduce absenteeism among female learners. A total of 12.2 million packets of sanitary pads were distributed to girls in public schools across the country in 2025. Mr. Speaker, we allocated in this year's budget 292.4 million Ghana cedis to sustain the free sanitary pad initiative. This commitment aims to remove gender-specific barriers to education and ensure that no girl's education is interrupted due to challenges related to her menstrual hygiene. Mr. Speaker, as part of efforts to decongest senior high schools and increase access and ensure parity in educational opportunities, government is going to convert and upgrade 30 Category C secondary schools to Category B, and convert and upgrade 10 Category B schools to Category A. In addition, facilities in Category A schools are going to be upgraded and expanded to be able to take in more children. Technical and vocational education and training remain a critical pillar of our strategy to address youth unemployment and accelerate skills development. Government will construct 6 brand new regional TVET centers of excellence across the country to equip our young people with practical, industry-relevant skills aligned with the demands of the evolving job market. We're also undertaking a review of the national curriculum to align with the OECD Future of Education and Skills Framework. This will make TVET education more adaptive and resilient. Mr. Speaker, to expand access to higher education and support balanced regional growth and meet the rising demand for quality tertiary education, we've entered international partnerships to establish 2 new public universities, one in Kentapo in the Bono East region, another in Jasikan in the Oti region. I'm happy to announce also that a grant has been sourced from China to establish a new public university in Damango in the Savannah region. Mr. Speaker, Technical universities play a critical role in closing the skills gap and reducing youth unemployment by delivering high-quality, industry-aligned and practice-oriented training within a broader policy framework that stimulates labor demand. In this regard, government is going to establish 3 new technical universities to strengthen skills development, enhance innovation, and support national industrialization efforts. Mr. Speaker, the Teachers Housing Initiative is a joint effort involving district assemblies, Common Fund, Get Fund, NAT, and JESOPs. And the aim is to build 50,000 housing units for teachers. This initiative is called the Teacher Dabre, Baby a Teacher Beda. This partnership demonstrates our collective dedication to enhancing teachers' living conditions and boosting the retention of teachers, especially in rural and remote areas, and ensuring that teachers can live, work, and retire with dignity and security. Mr. Speaker, by prioritizing equitable access and expanding infrastructure, we're investing in human capital and laying the foundation for a Ghana where every child can learn, grow, and succeed. Mr. Speaker, our health system. By January 2025, our health system was under severe strain. Aging and deteriorating equipment, stalled hospital projects amounting to 15 billion Ghana cedis in liabilities, and growing workforce pressures had weakened service delivery. Over the past year, donor support to our health sector declined sharply from 19% of our total health budget to just 2.2% today, creating an annual financing gap of more than 2.4 billion Ghana cedis. The withdrawal of support from programs previously financed by partners such as the USAID exposed the vulnerability in essential supplies and services, particularly in remote and underserved communities. Faced with these realities, my government chose to act decisively. In 2026, direct government funding for health will account for about 72% of our total health spending. This is up from 56.8% in 2023. Core health allocations have risen to GHS 23.3 billion, and with national health insurance resources included, total health financing now stands at 34.7 billion Ghana cedis. This reflects our clear commitment to domestic financing and health sovereignty. At the same time, we have faced the growing burden of non-communicable diseases. Today, non-communicable diseases account for over 40% of all deaths in Ghana and remain a major cause of household poverty. To address this, the government established the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, otherwise called Mahama Cares. Mr. Speaker, this is the first nationwide financing mechanism dedicated to chronic and non-communicable diseases. Mr. Speaker, the National Health Insurance Levy has been uncapped. Claims payments are now timely, with facilities no longer waiting more than 6 months as happened in the past for payment to be made. We're also finalizing measures to increase provider tariffs by over 100% to reflect the realistic cost of health treatment. As a result of the increased trust, NHIS enrollment has risen from 57% at the start of 2025 to 66% today. Mr. Speaker, Ghana's health workforce density has risen from 16.6% per 10,000 people in 2025 to nearly 42 per 10,000 today, while public sector health employment has doubled to approximately 200,000 workers. And yet, significant challenges remain. At the beginning of 2025, when we took over, 103,000 trained health workers were still awaiting placement, employment, or enrollment onto the payroll. Over the past year, 13,500 nurses and midwives, along with hundreds of doctors and pharmacists, have been absorbed into the public payroll. Nursing trainee allowances have been regularized and restored. Application fees have been reduced, and the no-fee stress initiative introduced to ease access to training has been extended. Service conditions are being implemented to boost morale and retention. Looking ahead, government will expand recruitment and take necessary action to add more health workers onto the payroll. We will also correct the maldistribution of health workers through targeted incentives for health workers who agree to serve in underserved areas. Let me use this opportunity to appeal to our gallant health workers to accept postings to our underserved areas, seeing as it is a national call to duty while we work to ensure that they have an enabling environment to do their work. Mr. Speaker, we'll also scale up specialist and advanced nursing training to match the country's changing disease profile. New post-basic nursing programs in cardiology, nephrology, endocrinology, and oncology will be introduced. While the two existing ones, emergency and critical care nurses, will be scaled up. At least 30 nursing training institutions will transition to competency-based degree curriculums, supported by new scholarship opportunities for PhD-level training for nurses and allied health professionals. Mr. Speaker, on health infrastructure, my government remains firm in its commitment not to abandon unfinished projects. We'll continue to retool facilities, strengthen emergency and disease surveillance systems, and ensure that health infrastructure is properly aligned with staffing, equipment, and financing. In 2026 budget, provision has been made to commence regional hospitals in Oti, Savannah, and the Western North regions. This will expand access to quality care. Aligned with the reset agenda, we're making strategic investments in local pharmaceutical and vaccine production. The government has allocated 50 million in seed funding to the National Vaccine Institute. And in 2025, a local manufacturer secured market authorization to produce snake venom antiserum right here in Ghana. We're also finalizing steps to implement an advanced market commitment to prioritize locally manufactured vaccines and pharmaceuticals in public procurement. Production of the tetanus diphtheria vaccine is expected to commence this year through a partnership with an Indonesian pharmaceutical firm. Disease control remains our priority in our country's immunization financing. We will strengthen immunization financing. In 2025, the vaccine budget for children and pregnant women was increased by 46%, exceeding the 171 million Ghana cedis. And this enabled Ghana to fully and promptly finance all its vaccines and reduce the risk of preventable outbreaks. In 2025, we also introduced the HPV vaccine to protect young women and girls against cervical cancer. Mr. Speaker, Ghana's HIV prevalence rate is estimated at 1.6%. And as I speak with you, there are about 350,000 of our countrymen and women living with HIV and AIDS. Mr. Speaker, although prevalence is low, some population segments and regions have significantly higher incidence than the national average. The Ghana AIDS Commission has been tasked with ensuring the availability of testing and antiretrovirals. This year, government will fully roll out a free primary health care program, removing all cost barriers at the primary level where it is most needed, while strengthening prevention, screening, and health promotion, especially for non-communicable diseases. The Ghana Medical Trust Fund will be scaled up, and access to advanced cardiac care, including cardiac catheterization services at Tamale, Kolebu, and Komfo Anokye Hospital, will be expanded to reduce overseas referrals and position Ghana as a center for specialized care in the sub-region, in line with our medical tourism objectives. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Health is expected to issue guidelines to eliminate the unacceptable no-bed syndrome. Patients facing medical emergencies must be received and given help, if even under makeshift conditions. You don't need to have a comfortable bed to save a patient. No patient must be turned away from any health facility they report to. Mr. Speaker, but in the meantime, government will expand capacity by implementing the Rich Hospital Phase 2 project to increase the number of beds at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital. We will also continue and complete the Police Hospital project, and also continue and complete the La General Hospital. Mr. Speaker, in the Ashanti region, we will complete the Sewa Regional Hospital. We will complete the Aferi Military Hospital. And we will complete the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital Maternity and Children's Block. Mr. Speaker, we remain on course to build a stronger, more resilient, and more self-reliant health system for all Ghanaians. Mr. Speaker, roads are a very important sector. We inherited a burden of significant financial obligations and structural pressures in the road sector that had accumulated over the years. As of December 2024, outstanding payments on road projects financed through the consolidated fund stood at 21 billion Ghana cedis. These were certified works executed by contractors across the country for which payment had not been made. In addition, indebtedness to contractors that was lodged with the Ghana Road Fund Secretariat and awaiting payment amounted to 5.43 billion Ghana cedis. This figure excludes accruing interest charges, which continue to compound the state's financial exposure. Mr. Speaker, beyond these areas, we inherited also contractual commitments, that is signed contracts, totaling more than 104 billion Ghana cedis. These commitments represent signed contracts for road projects at various stages of execution, many of them without corresponding secured funding to guarantee timely completion. By the end of 2025, the Ministry of Finance and Roads had cleared arrears amounting to almost 10 billion Ghana cedis owed to road contractors. And we are steadily continuing to reduce the road sector debts. Mr. Speaker, the famous Big Push infrastructure program. This is my vision for a national infrastructure drive to restore critical national infrastructure. Naturally, the bulk of the money is dedicated to the road sector. We want to open economic corridors, create jobs, and reduce the cost of doing business. Mr. Speaker, as I speak to you, work has started on 50 major road projects that cover a distance of 1,144 kilometers. The total estimated cost of these projects is 50 billion Ghana cedis. Meanwhile, government is also completing 23 projects that were awarded by the previous administration but were not paid for. These projects amount to another 573 kilometers and are estimated to cost 15 billion cedis. So if you add that to the 1,500, it means about 2,000 kilometers of roads are currently undergoing rehabilitation as I speak. This is the biggest major investment in our road sector in the history of Ghana. Across all 16 regions, 73 projects are advancing with significant visible progress expected by the end of the year. Some of these include Tepamaban-Goso, the Kumasi Bypass Road, Swami Interchange and Local Roads, Sunyani Outer Ring Road, Sampa Jinijini Road, Techima Nkonsia Winchi Road, dualization of Winneba Cape Coast Road, Kwau Tafo Adosu Road, Dodowa Afienya Dawenya, Bintiri Nakbanduri, Tamale Outer Ring Road, Wenchi Sola, Sola Wa, Bole Chache, Bole Town Roads, Navrongo Tumu Han Laura, Atimpoku Ho Denu, dualization of Accra, Aflao, dualization of Cape Coast Akrade, Dadieso Akontombra, to name just a few. Mr. Speaker, other feeder roads are Akosombo Jekiti Kudupe, Kudikope, Yeniam Junction Sedom, Apebusum Pakadan, Chodome to Palime Gemini Road. Indeed, there are many others too numerous to mention. And as I said at the launch of the Big Push program, the whole of Ghana is going to become a construction site. And Mr. Speaker, Ghanaians can already testify that serious road works are underway across the country. Mr. Speaker, the Accra-Kumasi Expressway will be a 198.7 kilometer, 6-lane high-speed motorway. This expressway is designed to connect Ghana's two largest cities, Accra and Kumasi, and it will reduce the traveling time between Accra and Kumasi to approximately 2.5 hours. Mr. Speaker, this new alignment will have 8 interchanges and will be Ghana's first true expressway. And so government has established the Accra-Kumasi Expressway Limited, which is a subsidiary of the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, as the concessionaire that will be mandated to design, to finance, construct, operate, and maintain the expressway, with the Ministry of Roads and Highways as the contracting authority. The project delivery is structured as a long-term concession of up to 50 years. Mr. Speaker, this expressway will be Ghana's first purpose-built expressway with limited access points, so goats and sheep cannot cross at any point. Mr. Speaker, it's designed for higher speed limits and modern safety infrastructure to reduce travel time and improve road safety. Preparatory activities, including feasibility studies, the detailed designs and cost assessments are currently underway. This major road construction work aims to improve mobility, safety, and trade while connecting communities to markets and essential services. Mr. Speaker, the Eastern Corridor. We aim to complete all unfinished segments of the Eastern Corridor Road by the end of 2027. Mr. Speaker, we'll continue and complete the 27.7 Accra-Tema Motorway and Extension Project. And this includes reconstructing the Accra-Tema Motorway into a 4-lane expressway with 3-lane service roads in both directions, and interchanges at Ashaman, where you have the Ashaman underbridge. It will now be an interchange. There will be another interchange at Community 18 and Teshi Link. Mr. Speaker, it also involves remodeling the Tetekwashi interchange. Construction works are ongoing and progress is at 32%. Mr. Speaker, other important projects include the Kumasi Inner Ring Road, the Volivo Bridge over the Southern Volta River, the Dambai Bridge over the River Oti, and the Adoso Bridge over the River Afram at Eche Amanfrom. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Roads has received cabinet approval to reintroduce road tolls on our roads and our bridges. Mr. Speaker, this time using advanced technology to improve efficiency, transparency, and avoid leakages in revenue generation. Preparatory work is underway to ensure the reintroduction of tolling operations this year. Mr. Speaker, There is no doubt that an effective and efficient transport system is integral to any economic development plan. So to improve public transport services in the country, government is supporting Intercity SCC Coaches Limited, Metro Mass Transit Limited, and the private road transport operators to renew their fleets. Currently, a total of 300 buses have been procured to improve road transport. The initial batch of 100 buses is scheduled to arrive in the country by the end of the first quarter of this year. Mr. Speaker, in fulfillment of my pledge to re-establish a national airline, a 10-member task force established to oversee this initiative has submitted a business model and operational framework to guide the selection of a strategic partner for the new national airline. And this new national airline will take off soon, inshallah. Mr. Speaker, passenger traffic handled by the Ghana Airports Company increased to 3.625 million passengers in 2025. This was an increase from 3.4 million in 2024. In response to the rising passenger traffic and congestion at the Accra International Airport's new Terminal 3, we are remodeling Terminal 2 into a dual-purpose facility to serve both domestic and international flights. So when the remodeling of Terminal 2 is finished, all the domestic flights and some of the international flights will be moved to Terminal 2 so that we ease the congestion on Terminal 3. This will improve operational efficiency and enhance the overall passenger experience. Mr. Speaker, Accra's Terminal 3 remains amongst the best in Africa. A new concourse will link Terminal 2 and Terminal 3 so that passengers arriving in Terminal 2 and having to move to Terminal 3 won't have to come out and walk. They'll go through the concourse. Mr. Speaker, Terminal 3 is going to be supported by a new 7-story floor car park. It will also have an airport hotel and retail amenities to service the passengers. Mr. Speaker, runway expansion and overlay is currently being undertaken to strengthen the Accra International Airport's runway. Mr. Speaker, we will also begin work on new regional airports in Sunyani, in Bolgatanga, and Wa. In Sunyani, the current location of the airport is not appropriate to extend the runway, and so we have to move and build a new airport at a different location. Bolgatanga, the site has been acquired and work will commence. Wa also, we have to move the airport from where it is because it almost intersects the road and the airport slopes upwards, making it inappropriate for air travel. Mr. Speaker, we are also reverting the airport in Accra, the international airport in Accra, to its original name, the Accra International Airport. Even though NLC Decree 129 was passed, no effort or nothing was done to effect the clause in the decree that said that the airport should be renamed after Kotoka. So in all international records in ICAO and IATA, that airport in Accra, the international airport, remains named Accra International Airport. Mr. Speaker, we are working to fully operationalize the Tema and Pakadang rail line to maximize passenger and freight traffic between Tema and the north using the Volta Lake waterway. The Western and Eastern railway lines will continue to be modernized in partnership with the private sector. These projects are aimed to support the efficient transport of container and bulk cargo to and from our ports, as well as to facilitate the efficient haulage of minerals from mines in Osuta, Awaso, and Yunahing to the Takoradi port, while also providing passenger transport along the respective rail corridors. Mr. Speaker, as part of the 24-hour economy initiative, a new 24-hour operation has started at Tema Port, allowing access to port services around the clock. This development enables importers to clear their goods at any time, significantly easing congestion at the terminals like the transit terminals, the reefer terminal, and the Golden Jubilee terminal. The initiative brings together customs, banking, and other relevant agencies to enhance efficiency, low transaction costs, and boost Ghana's competitiveness as a major trade hub. Cabinet has reviewed the designs and feasibility study for the Keita Port and directed the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority to present an action plan and a roadmap for the realization of the project at the earliest possible time. Mr. Speaker, the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, as part of its expansion efforts, has established a new operational office at Adenta Bus Terminal in Accra. If you need any service in the night from DVLA, go to Adenta. There's an office open there day and night. Mr. Speaker, this modern facility operates around the clock, providing continuous service to improve accessibility and convenience for our motorists in Adenta municipality and the whole general Accra area. Mr. Speaker, communications is important, and under the Rural Telephony and Digital Inclusion Project, implemented through the Ghana Investment Fund for Electronic Communications, GIFEC, we extend voice and data connectivity to unserved and underserved communities. We've targeted the construction of 2,016 cell sites all over underserved and unserved communities. 1,561 of these 2,016 cell sites have been constructed. And of this number, 1,144 have been activated. Work is ongoing to activate the remaining 417 sites. Preparations are also well underway to commence construction of the remaining 455 sites. Mr. Speaker, under the School Connectivity Initiative, over 62,000 digital resources have been uploaded to the Ghana Knowledge and Skills Bank, enabling seamless access across multiple devices, from PCs to laptops to tablets and smartphones, for more than 600,000 users, including teachers, students, and researchers. Mr. Speaker, as part of the government's research agenda to ensure Ghanaian youth acquire essential digital skills for the modern global economy, I launched the 1 Million Coders program in March 2025. This initiative aimed to train 1 million Ghanaians in key digital areas, including data analytics, data protection, cybersecurity, the metaverse, and artificial intelligence over 4 years. Phase 1 of the program, that is the pilot phase, saw hundreds of trainees complete their training programs in person across 4 training centers that were established in Accra, Kumasi, Sunyani, and Bogatanga. Mr. Speaker, phase 2, which will include virtual sessions, is set to commence this year, with expanded training centers and an increased number of beneficiaries. We project that 400,000 young Ghanaians will be trained this year. And this will build up to the numbers approaching 1 million. Mr. Speaker, the fight against corruption has remained a defining priority of my government and represents a central pillar of our commitment to good governance and accountability and the prudent management of public resources. Mr. Speaker, we've made progress through strengthened collaboration among law enforcement agencies, financial intelligence institutions, and prosecutors. These efforts have led to initiation of criminal proceedings and asset forfeiture proceedings against some individuals and entities implicated in financial crimes against the state. But yes, I agree with the sentiments of Ghanaians that we must press harder on this accelerator. As of December 2025, IOCO has recovered more than 600 million Ghana cedis. The office has investigated 462 cases, with 15 currently under prosecution. It has dismantled transnational carjacking syndicates and has recovered 29 luxury vehicles, that were stolen. Mr. Speaker, the government remains resolute that corruption will not be tolerated, regardless of status or political affiliation. The Attorney General's office will continue to use both criminal prosecution and non-conviction-based assets recovery mechanisms to ensure that stolen public resources are returned for national development. Mr. Speaker, I understand that a large majority of Ghanaians are impatient to see those who abuse their public trust in office held to account. Mr. Speaker, there were periods when, under military regimes and unconstitutional governments, extrajudicial means could be used to exact retribution against persons perceived as corrupt or who had abused the mandate given to them by the people. Mr. Speaker, this may have appeared as swift justice, but many regrettable excesses were recorded. In 1992, we overwhelmingly adopted the 1992 Constitution to accept governance by the rule of law. On 7th January, when I swore the oath of office before the people of Ghana, I swore to uphold the 1992 Constitution. I may be as impatient as everyone else to see justice done, but painstaking investigations must be conducted, dockets must be prepared, charges must be filed, and the accused must have their day in court, including appealing even on the smallest point of law to higher courts. This process is necessary to protect us all against abuse or ill treatment of citizens and to ensure that only those guilty of offenses against the state are punished. As President Mills of blessed memory said, he said, and I quote, "The wheels of justice grind slowly, but they grind exceedingly fine." Mr. Speaker, let me reassert my determination to uphold the accountability of public office holders to the people of Ghana. We have laid the Public Officers Code of Conduct Bill before Parliament. This bill codifies the conduct of public officers and makes breaches thereof punishable. I wish at this juncture to thank His Lordship, the Chief Justice, for establishing additional specialized high courts to address breaches identified in the Auditor General's report. Mr. Speaker, the Constitution review process was conducted in a transparent and consultative manner, drawing on input from constitutional experts, civil society organizations, traditional authorities, religious leaders, political parties, and the general public. The review committee has submitted its comprehensive report containing detailed proposals to amend the Constitution to address identified weaknesses and make it more welfare enhancing. Mr. Speaker, the Attorney General's office is working closely with relevant stakeholders to translate the recommendations into implementable legal and constitutional proposals, which will be presented to this August House in accordance with constitutional procedures. Mr. Speaker, illegal mining continues to pose a grave threat to our environment, water bodies, public health, and national security. Mr. Speaker, prosecution of persons engaged in illegal mining has been intensified, with a renewed focus on dismantling organized criminal networks behind galamsey operations, rather than targeting only the little fish, low-level offenders. Mr. Speaker, in all these galamsey operations, there are big fish who never get caught. Mr. Speaker, in total, over 114 case dockets involving hundreds of accused persons are pending in various courts across the country, particularly in towns and villages that are prone to illegal mining. Specialized prosecutorial teams have been deployed to fast-track illegal mining cases, ensure the effective presentation of evidence, and pursue the confiscation and forfeiture of equipment and proceeds used in or derived from illegal mining. Mr. Speaker, when it comes to gender and social protection. My government will continue to ensure gender equality and equity, promote the welfare and protection of children's rights, and empower the vulnerable, the aged, and persons with disability for sustainable national development. Work is well advanced on the Women's Development Bank, for which a total of 401 million Ghana cedis has been allocated in the 2026 budget. The coming months will see a full rollout of this monumental policy to empower Ghanaian women and women-owned businesses economically and financially. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Gender and Social Protection has successfully honored all legacy leave payment cycles for 2025 and before, reaching 1.5 million people. It has also ensured the full implementation of the Ghana School Feeding Program in over 12,000 public schools across all 261 districts of this country. Mr. Speaker, the number of beneficiary pupils under the school feeding program has increased from 3,801,491 for the 2023-2024 academic year to 4,231,059 for the 2024-25 academic year. This program is providing gainful employment to 34,000 caterers and cooks nationwide. Mr. Speaker, in the security sector, Ghana faces evolving security threats. Our troops, services, and agencies have, however, remained firmly committed to strengthening national peace and security, which underpin our democracy, development, and social cohesion. This commitment encompasses internal security operations, international peace support missions, strategic investment in restructuring and retooling and improvement in troops' welfare, recruitment, and capacity development. Mr. Speaker, two recent incidents are evidence of the increasing dangers we face as a nation. The killing of 8 of our compatriots who had gone to a neighboring country to purchase tomatoes, and just yesterday, an attack on Ghanaian fishermen in our waters by pirates reinforced the need for us to retool and adequately equip our security services. Mr. Speaker, I wish to commend the Ghana Armed Forces for conducting a successful medical evacuation of our injured compatriots from Burkina Faso. I also commend the Ghana Navy and the Ghana Air Force, the National Security Council Secretariat, the Chief of Staff's Operations Team, the MP for Ewutu Senya, the Chief Fisherman and people of Senya Breku, for the combined effort that successfully rescued all the stranded 71 fishermen who had been attacked by pirates. I've asked the National Security Coordinator to assist the affected fishermen and replace the stolen outboard motors and fishing gear. Mr. Speaker, the Armed Forces continues to play a key role in containing illegal small-scale mining through the deployment of river guards and support for the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat and assistance to special courts for swift prosecution of offenders. Mr. Speaker, during the year, the Ghana Armed Forces had 2,119 troops with requisite equipment deployed in various peacekeeping missions, reinforcing Ghana's reputation as a dependable and professional contributor to international peacekeeping operations. While Ghana continues to maintain an enviable reputation in international peacekeeping, we must note that many of these peacekeeping theaters where we have operated are winding down due to reduced budgets for UN peace support operations. And so as our troops return home, we must create opportunities for them to train, to remain active, and stay engaged. Mr. Speaker, beyond peacekeeping operations, Ghana continues to demonstrate its strong commitment to international solidarity, humanitarian assistance, and South-South cooperation. In December 2025, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in conjunction with the Ministry of Defense, deployed 54 personnel from our 14 Engineers Brigade to Jamaica to support that country with national reconstruction efforts following the devastation that was caused by Hurricane Melissa, which claimed over 40 lives. In recognition of the scale of the recovery effort and the good work our soldiers were doing in reconstructing the houses in Jamaica, government approved a request from the government of Jamaica asking us to extend the mandate of our soldiers there for another 90 days, which we approved. Mr. Speaker, to further improve operational readiness, the government will continue to invest in vital defense infrastructure and retooling. The construction of a forward operating base at Ezen-Libu, situated along the Western Maritime Corridor, is ongoing. This facility aims to boost maritime surveillance and better protect offshore oil and gas installations. The Northern Border Security Project, initiated to counter terrorism and transnational crime, is advancing decisively. This project constitutes the first line of defense against any infiltration and extremist threats coming from the Sahel, and it would significantly strengthen the surveillance of our northern border. Plans are well advanced to establish 2 new military barracks in Ejumako in the central region and in Dambai in the Oti region to address emerging security concerns and strengthen the presence of the state in these areas. To further support retooling efforts, agreements have been signed to procure and deliver 4 brand new Eurocopter helicopters and 1 jet for the Ghana Air Force, aimed at replacing the aging fleet and modernizing our air capabilities. The Ghana Armed Forces is carrying out a thorough overhaul of previously grounded aircraft, which involves replacing essential components and bringing them back into service. This aims to quickly restore their operational readiness vehicles for the Ghana Armed Forces to enhance mobility and boost troop morale. It forms part of a broad underway to acquire 2 brand new offshore patrol vessels, armored personnel carriers, protective gear, ammunition, vehicles, and strategic drones and advanced communication systems to enhance the operational capability of the Army, Navy, and Air Force. We will also continue to prioritize human capital development within the armed forces. A progressive recruitment drive to increase the strength of the Ghana Armed Forces by 12,000 personnel over 4 years to support expansion and operational demands is ongoing. In line with the government's reset agenda, the recruitment process has been decentralized to regional capitals, with selected recruits reporting directly from their regions to training schools, marking a significant shift from the previous Accra-centered system. Mr. Speaker, on a very solemn note, I wish to express my condolences to the families of 6 of our young daughters who died during the stampede at the Elwak Stadium. May their memory be blessed and may they rest in perfect peace. Mr. Speaker, following the revised gratuity regime that was introduced in 2020 under the stewardship of Honorable Nitu, extending service by 5 years, under Constitutional Instrument 129, arrears have accumulated. Nitu is my friend, don't worry. Arrears have accumulated, Mr. Speaker, because no budgetary provision was made over the 4 years that followed. Apenyo, when we all leave politics, I and Nitu are going to the same place in the north. You go to Winneba. Don't worry, we are brothers. Mr. Speaker, this has resulted in over 1 billion Ghana cedis owed to approximately 3,000 personnel across all the different ranks. As part of our commitment to fairness and the resolution of long-standing legacy issues, the government will soon commence payment of gratuity arrears under CI 129. Honorable by the current military high command with the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Defense, a structured implementation plan has been agreed upon. This will bring closure to the issue that has been outstanding since 2020, and it will ensure that affected personnel receive their rightful entitlements. Mr. Speaker, The Ghana Police Service has also received 40 armored vehicles and 100 pickup trucks to enhance their operations. Other security agencies such as the Fire, Prisons, Immigration, BNI, and Narcotics Control Commission will also be retooled to enhance their efficiency. Mr. Speaker, let me take this moment to commend the IGP and his men for the recent major successes they are chalking in bringing dangerous criminals to justice. The trust of the Ghanaian people in their police service is rising again. And I urge you to keep up the standard. Mr. Speaker, Ghana's foreign policy remains a central instrument for advancing our national development, for safeguarding our sovereignty, and projecting our values on the global stage. At a time when the global environment is characterized by profound geopolitical shifts, economic uncertainty, climate-related challenges, and evolving security concerns within our sub-region, government has taken deliberate steps to ensure that Ghana's engagement with the world is purposeful, strategic, and responsive to the needs of our people. In this regard, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has stepped up efforts to align Ghana's external relations with our domestic development priorities. Mr. Speaker, in West Africa, Ghana continues to pursue a policy of good neighborliness, solidarity, and constructive cooperation with all countries in the sub-region. We remain firmly committed to the vision of a peaceful, stable, prosperous, and integrated West Africa, grounded in mutual respect, dialogue, and collective responsibility. Particularly following their withdrawal from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. Ghana believes that continued dialogue and cooperation are indispensable to regional stability and that disengagement only deepens our collective vulnerabilities. At the continental level, Ghana continues to play an active, principled, and forward-looking role in advancing the African Union's strategic priorities. Today, Ghana currently holds the following prestigious positions. We are AU champions on reparations. We are AU champions for African financial institutions. And Ghana is also the AU champion for gender equality and women's empowerment. Mr. Speaker, I'm humbled by my election as the first vice chairperson of the African Union at the 39th ordinary session of the AU Assemblies of Heads of State and Government held recently in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Mr. Speaker, it is also gratifying to note that my colleague leaders in West Africa have declared me, John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana and Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Opposition. They have declared me unopposed, by the grace of God, sole candidate for the position of chairperson of the African Union when the rotating chairmanship returns to West Africa in 2027. Mr. Speaker, during the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly, I raised Ghana's voice to call for a comprehensive reset of the United Nations to better reflect the current realities and particularly the role of Africa in global governance and fairness in international financial systems. In line with our multilateral commitments, Ghana announced plans to table a United Nations resolution that recognizes the transatlantic slave trade as the gravest crime against humanity, and promoting an agenda of acknowledgement, reparative justice, and cultural restitution. Mr. Speaker, I'll formally present this resolution, which has been endorsed and adopted by the African Union unanimously, to the UN in March of this year for consideration by the UN General Assembly. Mr. Speaker, passports have never been easier to acquire than under this regime. Mr. Speaker, the Foreign Ministry of Foreign Affairs has established 7 new passport application centers in Upper East, Oti, Ahafo regions, Bono East, Northeast, my own region, Savannah, and the Western North region. Mr. Speaker, with this expansion, all 16 regional capitals now host passport application centers, marking a major milestone in the decentralization of passport services. Mr. Speaker, to address systemic delays, the ministry implemented a 24-hour passport production operation at the head office. This enabled the clearance of an inherited backlog of over 40,000 passport applications. As a result of these reforms, Ghana's passport administration now operates with 0 backlog, guaranteeing passport delivery within 15 working days. If you like, try it. Apply for a new passport. Within 15 days, you will receive your passport. Mr. Speaker, to facilitate travel and boost tourism and ease business mobility, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs implemented a 5-day visa processing service across. Currently, significant progress has been made in the design and procurement phase of a national e-visa platform with a targeted rollout plan for 2026. This means if you apply for visa, you apply online and the visa is approved online. You don't need to go to the Ghana embassy to apply. Ghana has also secured new visa waiver agreements with 11 countries to facilitate people-to-people exchange. It means for those 11 countries, Ghanaians don't need passports to go there. You just jump on the plane and appear there, and they'll allow you in. Mr. Speaker, to highlight Ghana's ongoing commitments to international solidarity, we made humanitarian donations to Jamaica, Cuba, Sudan, and Palestine to support disaster relief and conflict-related crises. These donations amounted to millions of cedis and included food, medicine, clothing, cocoa products, blankets, and mattresses, and plastic buckets. I'm pleased to, Speaker, I'm also pleased to report that remittances from our relatives abroad, the Ghanaian diaspora, reached a historic high of $7.8 billion in 2025. Mr. Speaker, this is the largest annual inflow ever recorded in Ghana's history. This reflects not only confidence in the Ghanaian economy, but the enduring patriotism of our citizens living and working abroad. Mr. Speaker, these remittances they bring back home, support households, they finance education, they build homes, they provide seed money for businesses, and best of all, they stabilize our foreign exchange position. In many respects, our diaspora has become one of the country's most reliable development partners. Without contracts, conditionalities, or fanfare, they are easily one of our most reliable development partners. We must intentionally ensure that citizenship, rather than place of residence, determines one's right to serve the Ghanaian Republic. Ghanaians worldwide who pledge allegiance to this country of theirs and make substantial contributions to its development should not be barred from active participation in public affairs, including the opportunity to hold public office, provided there are appropriate measures to ensure loyalty and accountability. Mr. Speaker, I'm personally in support of the bipartisan bill currently before this House, seeking to address this matter. And it is my hope that it will be passed expeditiously so that our compatriots we're trying to achieve. We're implementing many policies to develop our youth capacity and to create as many jobs as possible to address the major unemployment problem. All our youth activities and job creation programs are ongoing. In 2025, 10,887 young people were trained in entrepreneurship programs and job creation under the Ejumara program. In 2026, an additional 10,000 young people will receive similar support under the program. The National Apprenticeship Program onboarded 14,000 young apprentices during the pilot phase, and they have started receiving their startup kits after passing out successfully. Training is ongoing across the regions, and when completed, the trainees will be certified by the Commission for TVET to facilitate their access to employment. Mr. Speaker, this year, the target for the National Apprenticeship Program has been increased from 10,000 to 100,000 young people, offering many more young people the opportunity to acquire the skills needed for sustainable development. And as I said, when they pass out, they are giving a certificate by TVET to show that they have passed out and have the skill in whatever they learned. In 2025, 86,000 young people were engaged through the Youth Employment Agency, various employment modules under this agency. This year, I've directed the Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment as a matter of urgency to review all the youth employment modules under the YEA to reduce duplication and ensure value for money. This is important so that we can channel the resources to the advantage of the teeming youth who are waiting for opportunity. Mr. Speaker, the National Service Authority has signed an MOU with the Ministry of Defense to commence military training for 10,000 national service personnel will receive call-ups to report at various military centers for training. Mr. Speaker, this was a program initiated by our late Minister for Defense of Blessed benefit of the personnel in Ghana's trade and agribusiness and industrial sectors to boost our competitiveness in export markets, encourage value addition, and generate employment for Ghana's large youth population. My recent visits with initiate expansion works on factories has convinced me that Ghana is on the right track. First step, we are collaborating with private sector to establish 3 new garment factories in Eastern Region, Central Region, and Bono East Region. This will create an estimated 27,000 strategic investors a 27.04% growth in 2025. Export sector. Of the overall 33.8% of industry's share of gross domestic product in 2025. It emerged as a leading contributor within the industrial sector. The sector generated export earnings of approximately $15.25 billion, accounting for 65.37% of Ghana's total export receipts, out of a total of 23.3 billion. Mr. Speaker, the abolition of value-added tax on mineral exploration activities is expected to significantly reduce upfront costs for investors, improve project economics, and stimulate increased greenfield and brownfield explorations across the country. The fight against galamsey remains complex and demands a multi-dimensional response that integrates strong enforcement, the application of technology, sound regulation, and active community participation. The Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, in collaboration with the Ministry of Transport and Ghana Revenue Authority and the Ministry of Finance, has registered 1,808 pieces of earth-moving equipment at the ports, of which 1,033 have been fitted with trackers and are being tracked. The protection of our water bodies and forest reserves is ongoing with the deployment of 1,634 blue water guards across Western North Savannah, Upper West, Bono, Eastern Ashanti, Central, Volta, and Northern regions. This nationwide deployment aims to strengthen surveillance, improve rapid response, and enhance on-the-ground enforcement against illegal mining activities that threaten critical water bodies, forest ecosystems, and livelihoods. Mr. Speaker, NIMOS will maintain regular coordinated operations across all 21 identified hotspots to prevent re-entry of illegal miners into these reserves. While temporary deployments yielded positive results, they proved insufficient for sustained enforcement. Mr. Speaker, in the works housing and water subsector, these are vital pillars of Ghana's national development, shaping sustainable livelihoods through reliable water supply and affordable housing that enhance citizens' well-being. Sea defense works are ongoing. We've successfully completed works at Komenda, Ningo Pram, and Elmina. Together, these three projects have protected approximately 15 kilometers of our coastline and safeguarded lives and livelihoods and property. In March 2025, I visited Solakope, Agaveji, and Amutinu in the Ketu South municipality, where tidal waves had displaced thousands of residents. We made a firm commitment to address the devastation. Mr. Speaker, through the contract, and in August last year, I officially cut short to commence the project. I'm pleased to inform this House that the project is currently 25% complete, and calm has already been restored along the coastline. Notwithstanding these actions, flooding remains a major infrastructural challenge in the country and a top priority for this government. A task force on flooding is in place and coordinating the national mitigation efforts against flooding. Ghana continues to grapple with housing deficits, currently estimated at over 1.8 million units. Some significant strides have been made in the housing sector. In line with government's earlier commitments to complete all ongoing housing initiatives, we have successfully concluded the joint venture arrangement which we inherited for the completion of the Saglemi housing project. The Attorney General is reviewing all related documentation to finalize and commence the project. When these projects are finished, it will increase the number of housing stock available. The TDC in Ghana is also steadily advancing work on 800 housing units under the Akpung Affordable Housing Project at Tema Community 26. To position TDC Ghana as a key player in Ghana's housing industry, I performed a sword cutting ceremony last year for what they call the Oxygen City Housing Project in Whole of all places. That project seeks to address Ghana's housing deficit by developing 1,000 affordable housing units. We've also continued with our resettlement housing efforts for the victims of the Akosombo Dam spillage, with 251 of the planned 1,010 housing units in critical housing zones already under construction. Collectively, these initiatives demonstrate government's continued resolve to expand access to affordable housing, strengthen urban planning, and provide relief to affected communities. Mr. Speaker, renewable water resources are estimated at about 54 billion cubic meters, with over 70% derived from the Volta River, which is shared among 6 riparian nations. We're implementing key interventions to expand and improve water services nationwide. So the following urban water supply projects are at various stages of completion. The Keta Waterworks, the Winchi Water Supply Project, Sekendita Krade Water Supply Project. And I'm happy to announce that Anyako has good, clean drinking water today, and the Community Water and Sanitation Agency will commission the project next week. It will also serve the island community of Seva. We will begin preparatory work on the Damango and Sunyani water supply expansion projects and seek to finalize all financing arrangements for other water supply projects in Tamale, Yendi, Techiman, and Takwa. Mr. Speaker, the Danish government has allocated grant support to improve water supply services in low-income and high-density areas